6 o'clock, the first day of the month of December. Hello and welcome to the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on KSB 107.1 FM and we're streaming live on our Facebook platform. Coming up this morning was the African Examination Council awaits chief examiner's report following mass failure by senior high school students.
For now, it will be difficult for us to explain specifically the reason for the poor performance. But when the chief examiner's report is ready, that would indicate to us where the children's weaknesses are.
Also, the National Peace Council insists Memorandum of Understanding for Mission School is still binding.
Having held stakeholder meetings, the various faith groups that have schools, so Christians, Muslims, because they all signed the Memorandum of Understanding.
Also in this bulletin, the Speaker of Parliament's ruling allowing Pandai Member of Parliament to stay in Parliament expires today. Details of these and other stories, please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. I am Engina Malika. We'll start off with some education stories because the Public Relations Office of the West African Examination Council, John Kapi, says the chief examiners are currently compiling their reports to identify the causes of the poor performance seen in the provisional result of the 2025 West African Senior High Secondary Examination. The 2025 provisional report reveals that more than half of the candidates failed core mathematics, the worst performance in the past 7 years. In addition, results of 7,000 students were cancelled. Let's take a listen to John Kapi, who spoke to 3FM.
We indicated that the statistics that we put out there is representative of the results that we have released so far. So it is not the entire candidates of or the entire cohort, as it were, that start the examination that have their results released. We have a number of them withheld. Well, as we speak, the chief examiners are putting together their reports, and then we will study them, and then we'll pass them on to the teachers who are teaching the candidates in the classroom. So for now, it will be difficult for us to explain specifically the reason for the poor performance. But when the chief examiner's report is ready, that would indicate to us where the children's weaknesses are.
And that was the Public Relations Office of the West African Examination Council, John Kapi. Then, now moving on, the chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Fianu, has said second cycle schools provide places of worship for students with other faith aside Christianity. Now speaking on TV3's Hot Issues with Kemeni Amano, Most Reverend Fianu explained that the Memorandum of Understanding signed between various religious stakeholders captured such directive for second cycle mission schools.
Somebody, a parent, sends a child to a particular school, it is because of what that school stands for. If it stands for certain values, it is because those values have been inculcated in the students by that particular faith group. And so others want to go to that school. So the moment you want your child to come out with the same values as you see in those who have been there before, means your child also needs, you as a parent must make the right choice. Having had meetings, held stakeholder meetings, the various faith groups that have schools, so Christians, Muslims, they have seen that this is the way to go because they all signed the Memorandum of Understanding. Along this period of studying the document and all that, they all signed it.
In a related development, the Ghana National Muslim Conference is intensifying its push for stronger Muslim representation in national policy making as Interior Minister Mohammed Muhtaka Mubarak vows government's action against discrimination and crimes in public school. There's a report by my colleague Stanley Niblo.
The National Muslims Conference of Ghana brings together all Islamic sects, including the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, the Shia community, Ghana Muslim Mission, Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and the Tijaniya Muslim Mission to champion the interest of Muslims while strengthening interfaith relations. The 5th edition of the conference convened representatives from the executive, the legislature, and Muslim communities across the country with a focus on pushing Muslim concerns into national discourse. The General Secretary of the National Muslim Conference of Ghana, Alhaji Baba Inusa, called for improved educational infrastructure for Muslim communities.
We have now understood why we have been left out. We reason why we have communities as Nima, Mawuena, Tamale, and we don't have schools and infrastructure such as Western Girls and others.
Minister for the Interior, Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak, took a firm stance on criminality and discriminatory practices in learning institutions.
What we are trying to do is that Ghana Education Service is mandated to create an avenue for people, students, to make genuine complaints about mistreatment and molestation in school, whether they are Muslims or Christians or whatever. And we are vowing that when this is done, we will treat crime as crime. So if you assault somebody, we won't say because it's a school environment. That's an assault, and that will be dealt with as an assault. We'll deal with crime as crime and deal with issues that are not crime as not crime. But we must follow the system.
Chairman of the Muslim Caucus in Parliament, Yusuf Suleimana, urged the conference to undertake research and address pressing issues confronting Muslim communities.
And that was a report of my colleague Stanley Niblo. Now we'll take you to Parliament because the ruling allowing the Pandai Member of Parliament, Matthew Nyindam, to stay in Parliament expires today, December 1. Last week, the Speaker said it was premature to declare Mr. Nyindam disqualified from entering and participating in parliamentary business until the mandatory 7-day stay expires. The Tamale High Court announced the 2024 parliamentary election result for the Pandai constituency and ordered for a fresh poll within 30 days. Here's a governance expert, Professor Enoch Enchi, spoke about the development.
So who are the paymasters of the church? Remember that, a few months ago, the same person who will go to the Supreme Court and within 4 hours, the case will be heard and there will be a ruling, a judgment, is accusing the judiciary of singing to the tune of their paymasters. So were they also paymasters at that time? These are questions that we should be asking dispassionately and removing politics from it. The name of the game is evidence. So the question we should all be asking ourselves is that, did the evidence presented in court justify the sweeping order for a rerun? Now the judge said yes.
And that was Governance Expert Professor Enoch Enchi there. Now, the Minister for Finance and Acting Minister for Defense, Dr. Kassil Atuforsen, has expressed concern about the numerous infractions recorded in the last Auditor General's report. Speaking at the inauguration of the Ministry of Defense's Internal Audit Committee, he cited instances where documents were signed for the purchase of vehicles that were never delivered at the ministry.
If you were to look at the audit reports that the Auditor General has been given, number of infractions are whether take a sense, unfortunately, wrong signals to warn the people of Ghana and all stakeholders that the country is not taking public accounts. It is becoming a matter that Egbeta is going to take it to erode the confidence how public finances are being managed.
Dr. Atuforsen further noted that the continued infractions captured in the Auditor General's report, if not addressed, risk eroding public trust in state institutions.
If any part of this country fail, not Ministry of Defense, this is the line, the place that life integrity will have to be drawn here. But if every sector fails, there should be integrity, but there will be strong defense and governance. And so I don't want to see the next budget report from the Auditor General when the Ministry of Defense say because you hold the nation together. Yep. Who are the ones that will hold the country together no matter what.
The minister charged the newly inaugurated committee to help strengthen accountability and restore public confidence in the ministry and other state institutions. Members of the committee include Joseph Frederick Odati Blankson, Chairperson, Dominic Ajiman, Brigadier General Bengar, Patrick Vag, and Gloria Dambar.
That was a report of my colleague Armstrong Gold Alogbe. That's our package for you this morning. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyuna Maliga. Stay tuned. Business News is right up.
Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com.
It's our time for business news here on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. Coming up this morning, government shatters Treasury bill targets, raising 5.78 billion cedis over a lower target of 2.86 billion cedis. We'll give you details shortly. Also, the Association of Ghana Industries renews strong push for overhaul of Public Procurement Act to drive local industrial growth and sustain Ghana's 24-hour economy vision.
A reformed procurement regime that is being actioned must be intentional and channel public spending to Ghanaian manufacturers who will expand local production.
Also, former President Kufuor calls for national mentorship and coaching drive.
Sometimes they compromise too quickly. They are so impatient. Unless our generation, the older generation, we see the occasion like this to stress the uses of mentoring.
Details of our headlines and other stories, please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to a first story. Government significantly exceeded its targets for the Treasury bill auction held on November 28, 2025, raising an excess of 5.78 billion cedis amid a low target following 6 consecutive weeks of undersubscription. There's more in the following 3 Business report.
Government had initially aimed to raise 2.862 billion cedis in the auction, a move interpreted as cautious given the recent market performance. However, investor appetite proved much stronger, with total bids amounting to 6.034 billion cedis across the 3 tenors of 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills. Government accepted 5.782 billion cedis, successfully purchasing more than double its target, although accepting less than the amount offered by investors. For the 91-day bill, the total amount of bids received by government was 2.574 billion cedis, while government accepted 2.569 billion cedis, issued at a yield of 11.05%. The 182-day bill attracted total offers amounting to 1.648 billion cedis, with government accepting 1.629 billion cedis at an interest rate of 12.43%. For the 364-day bill, investors submitted bids totaling 1.811 billion cedis, while government accepted 1.583 billion cedis of these offers at a yield of 13.08%. The strong demand for the 91-day bill, in particular, was notable, with government accepting almost the entire bid amount at a yield of 11.05%. The successful outing has encouraged government to revert to a higher target for the upcoming auction. Government is set to seek 5.805 billion cedis on Friday, December 5, 2025, indicating renewed confidence in the market's liquidity and investor interest in short-term government debt.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on government shattering the Treasury bill targets, raising 5.78 billion cedis over a low target of 2.86 billion cedis. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has announced a significant operational shift in its monetary policy framework, reverting to the 14-day bill as the primary instrument for the open market operation. This move replaces the 56-day bill that has been the main OMO instrument for preceding months. Now, according to the central bank, the change is part of a broader effort to restructure the central bank's liquidity management framework and enhance the effectiveness of monetary policy transmission. Open market operation, typically involving the issuance of short-term central bank bills, are crucial for regulating liquidity conditions within the banking sector. By issuing these securities, the BOG absorbs or injects funds, guiding short-term interest rates in line with its overall monetary stance. Now, to some other stories, the Association of Ghana Industries is renewing calls for a comprehensive overhaul of the Public Procurement Act to ensure government spending directly supports Ghanaian manufacturers and the country's push towards a 24-hour economy. The call was made at the AGI 65th National Annual General Meeting and Job Fair in Accra.
Outgoing president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Appiah-Ampofo says the current procurement framework fails to prioritize local industry, limiting competitiveness and slowing down industrial growth.
A reform procurement regime that is being actioned must be intentional and channel public spending to Ghanaian manufacturers, will expand local production capacity as well as create the skill needed to support round-the-clock industrial operation and the 24-hour economy.
Dr. Appiah-Ampofo believes strategic reforms will help industries overcome long-standing constraints, enhance productivity, and create jobs, especially for the youth.
Influx of unfairly traded imports of electrical cables, beverages, cooking oils, wheat flour, foam products, and many other products, and many substandard quality items continue to flood our markets through the right channels and through smuggling.
Meanwhile, Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority has called for partnership with businesses, including the AGI, to create a forum for sharing intelligence and support anti-smuggling efforts.
Now, moving on, former President John Agyekum-Kufuor is calling for a deliberate effort at promoting Ghana's mentorship and coaching system, stressing that the country's future leaders must be equipped with skills and values needed to thrive on the global stage. Speaking at a high-level event on the creation of Mentor Coaching Academy in Accra, Kufuor warned that without a deliberate investment in structured mentorship, Ghana risks losing its competitive edge.
At the event held at his residence, the former president emphasized the importance of investing in the country's human capital. He said the potential of Ghana's youth can only be fully realized if experienced professionals actively guide, inspire, and equip the next generation with essential values and skills.
These youngsters, they have all the education, brilliant, they know the world through the technologies, but they don't have hope. The job prospects are not there. And so it's become like rat race for them. They are rushing around, and sometimes they compromise too quickly. They are so impatient. Unless our generation, the older generation, we see the occasion like this to stress the uses of mentoring and coaching, even while they are in the university campuses.
The proposed Mentor Coaching Academy, spearheaded by the John A. Kufuor Foundation and the British Council, aims to create a network of seasoned leaders who will mentor young people across employability, entrepreneurship, and academic development.
By March next year, we should have a mentoring and coaching academy. It should have probably between 2,000 to 3,000 coaches and mentors. It should be open to all youth programs in this country, to universities who are looking for experienced professionals to provide the practical side of the training.
And that was a report on former President John Agyekum-Kufuor calling for national mentorship and coaching drive. Now, before we go, let's take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some key commodities are also faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 27 pesos. It recorded no change. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis 90 pesos. It recorded no change. The euro is selling at 13 cedis 5 pesos. It also recorded no change. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $62.38 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,239.44 per ounce, up by $81.83. Cocoa is trading at $5,504 per ton, up by $411.
That was an update from the Forex and commodities markets. That'll be all for business news here on Sunrise 3FM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haliga. Sunrise continues.
92.7 3FM.
This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #Familac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances. Happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12.
With the 6 a.m. news for us and got us into business as well. We're continuing for you here on the 3FM Sunrise. And would you put down these numbers? 055-924-2717, 055-924-2717, as well as 055-691-0154, 055-691-0154. In about 30 plus minutes, you will get the chance to call in and share your thoughts with us as well as to the discussions from our newspapers, as well as the online portals, and a mix of development from across the news platforms all throughout the weekend. But as we continue for you, we'll get into the weather as well with Felicity Ahafianyo, who's our chief weather forecaster. Get a sense of what to expect for this week as well, as we have officially entered the month of December. And December brings lots of joy, not just to the little ones, but even to the adults as well, because it's a moment of reflection, really, and a time where persons can gather, look on the year as to how far they've come, and hey, if you set out those goals and you achieve them, that's fantastic. If you're still on the journey of achieving them, that's fantastic. If you haven't, it's even more fantastic, because you have life. And like we were telling you, or I was telling you this morning, the fact that you're here starting this new month is evidence that there's still a lot more journey left in you. And so do not give up, do not lose hope or be perturbed as to how the year has gone. And also, Christmas is upon us, and so you begin to hear the jolly good music about Christmas and all of the excitement that fills the air when it's Christmas. And then we look ahead to the new year 2026 as well. And so definitely a lot of reason to be waking up and be smiling as you make your way to work, you head to school, and you go about your business this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise. And like I mentioned, we'll get the weather update first, and then we'll zoom into other matters. But be my guest and find us on social media. We're streaming live. Our handles 3FM927. Same handles on Twitter as well, 3FM927. Particularly on Facebook and YouTube is where you catch the stream and be a part of all of our conversations as well. Let's get the weather update right now with Felicity Ahafianyo. Felicity, good morning. I trust that you're well, and a happy new month to you as well.
Thank you, Mawuena. Good morning. Happy new month to you. I pray that the month will be good weather-wise, and the blessings, the healing, the guide of God, the blessings, the $1 million will land in our various accounts.
Amen. And I mean, December is here. That comes with a lot of excitement, not just for the kids, but for even the adults, because you can at least be able to relax during the numerous holidays in the month of December. But what are we to expect this week in terms of the weather as well?
Yeah, thanks so much. Good morning to our dear viewers. For today, we expect it to be mostly sunny with few clouds in the sky over the entire country with dry and slightly hazy conditions for the north, the 5 northern regions. For those of us in the southern sector, eastern part of Volta, Ashanti, part of Greater Accra, Central, Western North, and part of Bono, we expect them to have partly clouded sky today with possibility of some chances of rain occurring over some places. Those in Ho, those in Kaswa, those in Chemdan, Chibi, Mafe, Kumasi, Joje, Ho, and parts of Ebri areas into Takwa, Obuasi, Benso, and then those around Accent Akradi. We are having some low chances of rain and thunder, and we're expecting it in the afternoon into the evening hours, so we should watch out for that. Then I want to add that if the chances are low, so it's just that some are likely to get the rain, others will just see the clouds. So we should keep that in mind. In terms of temperature, it's going to be on the higher side, very hot, 38 for the north, 36, 34 for the transition and the middle sector. Greater Accra, 33 degrees Celsius. For the fisher food for today, the state of the sea is expected to be calm, so they can go and fish and navigate. But then if they want to go towards Nigeria waters, they should watch out for some rain and thunderclouds over those portions. Water lake pretty cool, but then afternoon, some rain and thunder around Pong and cliffs, and those around Katekrachi should watch out for some isolated cases of rain and thunder.
And we're so far away from the Hamatan because you mentioned today will be quite hot across the country.
The Hamatan winds are already in the country, but then it's over the 5 northern regions. By second week of this month, we expect it to descend over Oti region, over Bono, Uyes, and then parts of Ashanti region. So we'll keep monitoring and then we'll keep updating. There's a time that you do expect a widespread mist and fog patches at night into morning hours. So motorists need to be careful because visibilities will be blurred. And then also the sun will be scorching. So those that will be doing outdoor activities, especially our mothers in the open marketplaces, they need to protect themselves with a wide brain pad and then also to be drinking a lot of water or frequently be taking in good fluid.
Thank you very much, Felicity, and I wish you a fantastic new month filled with lots of love and the blessings of God. Thank you as always for bringing us the weather.
Thank you too.
That's Felicity Appiah-Ampofo joining us with the weather updates, and it will usher us into the newspapers, but we do not get into the newspapers without a song of the morning.
92.7 3 FM. 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 92.7 3 FM.
This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLat 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances. Happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamilyLat 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-1100.
There's been long deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe.
92.7 3FM. 92.
On the 3FM Sunrise, we're doing 25 minutes to the top of the hour. Neon Adejo rather, with Izzy Ibube. Grace found me, live rendition for you to start off your December as well. Thanking our Lord Almighty for the gift of life as always. It's one thing that I love to remember everybody about whenever it is that we're here on the 3FM Sunrise. It's always a pleasure actually to come to the realization that grace has found you and you're a part of the living. And so let's get into our newspapers as we munch on those few words from the words of the song, and starting off with the Custodian newspaper this morning. Quite a number of stories here, but the big banner one says minority backs Appiah-Ampofo demands withdrawal of privileges committee referral. That's for an interesting read and an interesting development, which I'm sure I'll get thoughts from the guys on pretty shortly as well. Also here, First Bank pledges to support government. President John Mahama and First Bank CEO Olusegun Alebiosi, who is in the middle. You grab a copy of the paper, you see who is in the middle. Akufo-Addo eulogizes trailblazer Nana Konadu. We know that the state funeral was on Friday last week. WAEC releases 2025 WASI result, cancels result of 653 candidates. That as well on the front page of the Custodian newspaper. The Finder, I have the Finder here as well. They lead with GSE slips, that's the Ghana Stock Exchange. Slips as trading moderates after midweek rally. Also here, Mona Captain at 50, a golden tribute to a Ghanaian golf icon. And Carbon Program empowers youth with $1,000 innovation grant and $10,000 scale-up capital. And Ghana losing over $600 million annually. $600 million on annually imported sugary juice. That as well here. I'll take you to the Daily Graphic this morning, and huge story here. Remove SP, EC chair, 2 deputies, 10 petitioners appeal to president. That's very interesting. So the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Jean Mensah, and her 2 deputies, they are within the firing aim of these petitioners. So is Kisie Jabeng, who is the special prosecutor. And like I mentioned, we'll get details of these stories as well. Respect mission schools' rights. Presby moderator urges Ghanaians. Laurentia Sahini honored at 25th National Tourism Awards. Provide KNUSC financial clearance to recruit more staff, as Antehene urges government. So that's what the Daily Graphic has on its front page. Let me do the back page just quickly. Holy Stars urge Nations FC to climb out of relegation zone. O'Neal saves Kotoko with late equalizer. The league log is here. I just want to see where my darling heart of oak. They said Sith. So same point with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Midiama leads with 23 points, Heart of Lions with 23. So they are tied with 23 points each at the top Oh no, it's actually 3 teams which are all tied with 23 points. So Midiama, Heart of Lions, and Indiana all tied. Then there is Gold Stars in 4th with 22 points. Asante Kotoko and Heart of Folk are tied with 21 points each. And then there's Samatex with 18. Hwahwa United is 10th with 14 points. So it's not all gloomy and bad for us here. The Daily Guide newspaper, also, they have here IET Anes Tor Boss for outstanding leadership. 51.27 Phil Wasi Mart's pass rate drops. Ashanti Surge boosts Educhum's flag bearer bid. Church of Christ or Church of Jesus Christ kickstarts Lights the World initiative with Miracle of Christmas. And 2 police officers jailed 13 years over narcotics. Finally, I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The huge story here, Asantehene resumes Boko conflict mediation at Menchia Palace today for lasting peace. We'll have details of this for you. Remain faithful to the Lord. Reverend Wengam admonishes President Mahama on 67th birthday. Youth Development Ministry launches 2 initiatives tomorrow to drive agri-food innovation. Also, Ho set to host National Farmers Day. And Mrs. Ajiman Rawlins laid to rest. Pallbearers carrying the remains of the late Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlins from Friday as well. On the back page, Black Queens will show courage against England. Kim Lars saying this. Also, Mauli Wayo's goal holds Heart poor home run. And Gold Star Pip Eduana FC. Also on the page, or the back page rather, of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. I'll take you to the Daily Guide in terms of the details, because there is quite the story being reported by the paper as to 10 petitioners appealing to the president to remove both the special prosecutor as well as the EC chair and her 2 deputies. And the story is by Emmanuel Ebo Hoxton, and it reads, President John Dramani Mahama has received 10 petitions for the removal of 2 heads of public institutions and 2 deputies appointed under Article 70 of the Constitution. The institutions are the Electoral Commission and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. 7 petitions were filed against, the story continues on page 3, against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Menta, and the 2 deputies, Dr. Bosman Eric Asare, who is in charge of corporate affairs, and Samuel Tete, in charge of operations. 3 other petitions are against the removal of the SP Chisi Ejabain. Checks by the Daily Graphic indicates that the various petitions have been forwarded to the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafo Boni. Article 72 of the Constitution states that the President shall, acting on the advice of the Council of State, appoints a chairman, deputy chairman, and other members of the Electoral Commission. The chairperson of the EC and the deputies have the same conditions of service as those of justices of the Superior Court, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the High Court, and so are their removal processes. While the chair of the EC has the same terms and conditions of service as the Justice of the Court of Appeal, the 2 deputies have the same terms and conditions of service as are applicable to a Justice of the High Court. And I'll seek to extend the details, because this is very interesting, the development. According to Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, a Justice of the Superior Court or Chair of the Regional Tribunal shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior or incompetence, or on ground of inability to perform the functions of his office arising from infirmity of body or mind. The second clause provides that a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature may only be removed in accordance with the procedure specified in Article 146(3). And so, as the President has received these petitions, they've been forwarded to the Chief Justice for the removal of the chair, And we await to see what will happen from there. On the Special Prosecutor, Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, deals with the removal of the SP with timeline similar to that of the EC. The SP shall not be removed from office except for a stated misbehavior or incompetence, incapacity to perform the functions of the office by reason of infirmity of body or mind, willful violation of the official oath or oath of secrecy, conduct which brings or is likely to bring the office of the special prosecutor into disrepute, ridicule, or contempt, or inimical to the economy or security of the state. And a person who seeks to remove the SP from office must submit a petition to the president. And so on both scores, petitions have gone through, and we await really what the outcome of all of these will be, even as we know that these petitions have been forwarded to the Chief Justice, and the expectation is that he will begin to work on them, and we'll get an update, because we know that the 146 process is subject to a lot of secrecy, actually, which is the wish of the framers of the Constitution. And so outside of this thing that's been reported, it's not quite clear whether or not we will get extra details. One of the individuals who petitioned last week was on radio, granted interviews here and there, but remains to be seen what comes out of it, and the subsequent committees which will be set up, amongst all other things. But let's move away from that and take you to the custodian, because the minority is backing Appiah-Ampofo, demanding the withdrawal of Privileges Committee referral. And this has seen a lot of reaction since that press conference by the minority in that regard, because many are those who say that, look, there's no basis at all for the minority to be on that particular tangent, but we'll see really what the outcome is. But let's get the details first, and then perhaps I'll take you to Parliament when the Speaker made that ruling somewhere last week. Now, members of the minority in Parliament have vowed to resist any attempt by what they describe as overbearing majority caucus to undermine their leader, Alexander Appiah-Ampofo. And accordingly, the group has called for the immediate withdrawal of the referral of the minority leader to Parliament's Privileges Committee. They described the referral as an abuse of power and a violation of parliamentary and constitutional norms. Addressing the media in Accra on Friday, the deputy leader and MP for Asokwa, Madam Patricia PG, descended heavily on Speaker Bagbin and Majority Leader Mahama Yarga, insisting the referral must be rescinded without delay. She condemned the decision as politically motivated, arguing it is the most cynical and constitutionally perverse action ever taken in the Fourth Republic. The referral, according to Madam PJ, was designed to punish Appiah-Ampofo for refusing to comply with what she termed as unconstitutional and internationally unlawful parliamentary resolution passed on the 22nd of July 2025. And the said resolution was passed to remove the minority leader from the ECOWAS Parliament, even though he was duly elected as third deputy speaker of the sub-regional legislative body. And so that's the argument. On one of such themes, they say unambiguous legal architecture, and they argue that the Speaker and the Majority Leader, by their action, had violated the law, Article 18.2 of the Supplementary Act. She pointed out simply that a representative shall be elected for a period of 4 years from the date of the inauguration of the Parliament by the Chair of Authority. Their mandate shall end on the last day of the legislature. Again, also this is in relation to the ECOWAS Parliament Act. And they argue that the deputy minority leader argued that the decision to remove Appiah-Ampofo does not fall under any of these categories. She pointed out clearly that the minority leader has not died, he has not resigned nor incapacitated. There has been no removal by the ECOWAS Parliament. And they say that they aver that the Speaker and the Majority Leader improperly invoked the standing orders to justify the removal of Appiah-Ampofo. But let's take you back to the House and get a sense of what the Speaker's ruling was in relation to this particular matter?
Disclosed in the complaint established a prima facie case warranting referral to the committee. Members recall that I deferred my ruling to the next day, and that was to be Wednesday, 12 November 2025. However, the pressures of business on the order paper made it impossible to deliver the ruling on that day. I am now in a position to do so. In considering this matter, I have reflected carefully on the facts alleged, the standing orders, and the relevant constitutional and statutory provisions governing 1, the authority of Parliament, 2, the binding force of parliamentary resolutions, and 3, the scope of Parliament's contempt jurisdiction. What is the nature and effect of a resolution of Parliament? Honourable members, a resolution of Parliament is a formal act through which the House expresses its collective will on a matter properly before it. Once adopted, a resolution becomes a binding decision of the House until it is rescinded, suspended, or varied in accordance with the standing orders of the House. A resolution, therefore, has continuing effect, and the Speaker, as the presiding authority, is bound to give effect to it. While the Speaker may clarify the scope or meaning of a resolution, he cannot amend, modify, or disregard it unilaterally. Honourable members, this principle reflects the doctrine of collective responsibility. When Parliament speaks through a resolution, that decision binds all members, irrespective of political affiliation, leadership status, or personal opinion. As Eskime reminds us, and I quote Eskime, the dignity of Parliament depends upon the observation of its rules, and the authority of Parliament depends upon their enforcement, unquote. This is the foundation upon which parliamentary collective responsibility rests. So what is the power and scope of Parliament's contempt jurisdiction? Contempt of Parliament refers to any act or omission that obstructs, impedes, or undermines Parliament in the performance of its functions, or which affronts its dignity, or tends either directly or indirectly to obstruct, impede, undermine Parliament in the performance of its functions,
in the morning,
or affront the dignity of Parliament. Parliament's power to address contempt is inherent in its constitutional status as a coordinate arm of government and is expressly recognized under Article 122 of the Constitution, Order 30 of the Standing Orders, and Section 26 of the Parliament Act 1965, Act 300. Honourable members, the jurisdiction to sanction contempt is not limited to acts committed within the chamber. The relevant test is whether the conduct, wherever it occurs, has a direct tendency to obstruct, diminish, or bring Parliament into disrepute or ridicule. Parliament may therefore exercise its contempt jurisdiction over conduct occurring outside the presence of the House, where such conduct undermines the institution's authority or impairs its ability to give effect to its decisions. Honourable members, I note that the specific instances of contempt listed in the standing orders such as disorderly behavior, deceit, or disobedience of an order issued by the presiding officer do not expressly identify non-compliance with or disregard of a resolution as a distinct ground of contempt. A resolution, as earlier observed, is a decision of Parliament, not an order of the Speaker. There is therefore no express provision making its breach a stand-alone category of contempt. However, Section 26 of Act 300 makes clear that the enumeration of contempt grounds is not exhaustive. Parliament retains the right to treat as contempt any act that impedes its functions or affronts its dignity. Order 31A similarly contemplates conduct, whether specific or general, that brings Parliament into disrepute or undermines its institutional authority. It is within this broader category that the present allegation must be assessed. Honorable members, it is useful to consider what constitutes an affront to the dignity or authority of Parliament. Orders 30C and 31 prove directly or indirectly brings Parliament into disrepute or which undermines its authority, reputation, or dignity may amount to contempt. These capture behavior that, while not obstructing proceedings, undermines Parliament's standing, coherence, or credibility. An affront to the dignity or authority of Parliament may arise where a member's conduct challenges or disregards a valid act. The strength of this House, therefore, rests not merely in its constitutional design, but the 34(1). I therefore refer the matter, the complaint lodged by the Honourable Member for Bawku Central and a majority leader to the Committee on Privileges and Immunities for examination, inquiry, investigation, and report to the House.
So that's the Speaker, and he, on his ruling, now the minority says, look, this is politically motivated, and so withdraw this referral to the Privileges Committee because you are targeting our leader. I don't know what you make of it, but I mean, good morning, Helen.
Good morning, Bowie. How are we doing? How was the weekend?
It was okay. It was okay, I'll be very honest.
Anything exciting happening or happened?
Should have beaten Arsenal yesterday.
Oh, man, yesterday. But I mean, that said, 10 men on the pitch versus Arsenal. I think Chelsea gave them a bit of a showdown, but it could have been a bigger showdown.
We should have beaten them, man. I'll be honest. I haven't watched us play in a while because half the time my head is buried in some work or something.
Right.
But yesterday I decided that, look, I was going to pack everything aside and I was going to go watch the game. And I did. And
I know you were on the edge of your seats the whole time.
I am.
It was one of those games.
I watched my football being on the edge of my seat. But we should have beaten them. Even with 10 men.
Even with that, I mean, well. Once you go down by one man against Arsenal, it's not so easy. I think Chelsea really put up a formidable fight.
It was a good fight.
Yeah.
But I would say, if there's one team I want to really beat and beat badly, it's Arsenal. They're making too much noise, man.
And now they are sitting on top of the leaderboard, somewhat 6 points clear.
We'll see where
of Chelsea.
We'll see where they'll be at the end of the
just
season.
take it cool.
We'll see where
take it cool.
But we should have beaten them.
Take it cool. When the sports team come, they'll be able to dissect all of the weekend's scores. And my Palace fans in the house, well, we were beaten by...
You're a Crystal Palace fan?
Yes. That's my team.
Very interesting. I know.
Oh, don't be interested because they're not an interesting team.
But I mean, Palace has been on the app for...
I mean, listen, they're the kind of team that you know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
At the end
they
of
don't
the
really
season,
win trophies, but last season we got
our first one. So I actually I've actually been to see a few Palace games in the flesh
really?
because they're close to where I used to reside in Sellers Park. So actually in October, I went and watched a game. It was I don't know what tournament.
Right?
No, that game I watched, we didn't. In fact, I've never gone to Sellers Park and we've won before. So maybe I'm the bad luck. I need to stop attending Palace games.
Europa Conference League.
Yes. So there's a big, when you enter Sellers Park,
all of green, lots of green.
There's a big picture there congratulating us. But anyway, more on sports to come later on, of course, on the show. But back to Parliament. In fact, on Friday, we had a very fruitful discussion here, which you can play back on YouTube. And even before that discussion, when I opened up the phone lines, the general consensus amongst fellow Ghanaians is that the Privileges Committee in Ankasanka and all these investigative committees that are set up in Parliament, we don't see any power, we don't see anything. We heard about at the top of the year, the mics were tutued, the mics were scattered, and no response. I believe Honorable Bedra was the chair of that committee.
The reports has been ready for laying forever, but nobody is willing to.
I mean, so many issues that I can even go back to the 8th Parliament. We had the Kokonsa police probe. Taxpayers paid for that. The AC that they put on is from your pockets. Whatever ice water that was served there, maybe there might have been meat pie at the end of the meal. You paid for it. What came of it? Absolutely nothing. So, I mean, even from me, listening to everybody else's opinions, what really would have become of this? If you tell me that if I tell you, I think it would have ended up like some of the other instances and cases that are still on the shelf. You can't beat me, you can't catch me, you can't begrudge me of that opinion. And so this is for me, I don't know. It just feels like the usual banter.
The concern from the minority suggests that there could be a legitimate reason to find him in contempt of Parliament.
The minority?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they addressed a news conference and said that the referral of their leader was politically motivated, amongst many other things. Of course, you and I both know we do not trust the House to come up with anything tangible. I'll be very honest. I do not trust.
Listen, once they get in there, they are also a fraternity of their own. In fact, Honorable Vondi was here on Friday and I asked him a question. I said, is this just a boys, girls group? When you guys get into trouble, you cover my back, I cover yours. And I think that he was struggling to answer. And I asked him, is it a struggle to answer this question? Because maybe what I'm saying or what I'm asking or what Ghanaians perceive is the truth. So some of this ends up as banter. And I think honorable members of Parliament, of the 9th Parliament, the people are asking, do you really hold yourselves accountable or are you playing and joking with us?
Exactly. But what I think makes this a little different is that this was a resolution of the House, right?
Okay.
So it's more like an official, something like it's a big deal.
Okay.
And for him to have gone and shoved the resolution, like thrown it away and decided to do what it is that he wanted, makes it look like it might be a big deal, but hey, this is Parliament, like we're saying. Not too much to expect in terms of what will come out of this. I'll be very, very honest.
Well, seeing is definitely believing, so we'll see what happens as it unfolds. I think there could be some legitimacy to your thought process, especially because this has to do with ECOWAS. So we've kind of gone beyond our own borders. Sometimes what happens at home
actually
can be a bit different, but when we take it outside of our own boundaries, I suppose it's a whole different kettle of fish. I know you've run through the headlines on the various newspapers.
Something caught your eyes?
I'm looking at these WASSI results. 51.27% fail WASSI maths. Pass rate drops. What is going on with the math? We don't enjoy it. We're not understanding it. I, for one, I didn't enjoy it, but I think I perceived it to be this scary monster. Maybe it's the approach to which we teach the math. The math teachers are always scary. Math teachers, French teachers. Which other subjects have the scariest teachers?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
Math and French. Yeah. Hey, monsieur. calm down for us. But a quick one there. It's captured on page 6 of the Daily Guide. Let's see what's going on with our math ability. Now, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, provisional results for the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WASSCE, for school candidates have revealed a troubling decline in performance compared to previous years. In core mathematics, only 48.73% achieved grades A1 to C6. The distribution further shows that 11.6% scored D7, 12.15% obtained E8, and 26.77% had F9. Oh, we're not seeing the math stop.
Yeah, it's very challenging.
1 in 4 students will get F9 in maths. Well, this marks a decline from the 66.86% pass rate recorded in 2024, 62.23% in 2023, and some 61.39% in 2022, and represents the poorest performance in the 4-year data provided by WAEC. Well, we can only do better when furnished with this information. Why don't the students enjoy
It's the worst
math?
result in 7 years, actually. So
I see.
It's a bit of a challenge.
I see. One might be, is it the case that we are... Do you know what would be an interesting correlation? If we were to see a drop in exam malpractice or cheating, and that meant that because we're seeing a drop in that, we're also seeing a drop in some of these pass rates. If that is the case, then I'm not too bothered, because it means that now we have a true picture of what the students really understand without any kind of malpractice or any kind of cheating. But if that remains the same and the cheating is the same and the results are now going down, we have a bigger...
There's a huge problem in terms of being able to decode what it is that we've seen play out in this year's WASSCE results. But it will be very important that let's listen to John Kapi, because he says the chief examiners are yet to come through with their final report, and so let's listen to him, and then we will see the way forward as to how we can deal with this very poor results not seen in quite a while.
We indicated that the statistics that we put out there is representative of the results that we have released so far. So it is not the entire candidates of or the entire cohort, as it were, that side examination that have their results released. We have a number of them withheld. Well, as we speak, the chief examiners are putting together their reports, and then we will study them, and then we'll pass them on to the teachers who are teaching the candidates in the classroom. So for now, it will be difficult for us to explain specifically the reason for the poor performance. But when the chief examiner's report is ready, that would indicate to us where the children's weaknesses are.
So that's John Kapi saying that we will get a proper understanding as to what's happened a lot later from him, but most definitely a cause of concern. This WASSCE results that we've seen. But Helen, you have a bit more details. Sixtus, good morning to you as well.
I mean, I was just flabbergasted. 1 out of 4 flabbergasted. In fact,
her flabber is gasted.
FLAGGERBASTED, flabbergasted. Your microphone is nowhere near you. The side of the bed did you wake up from? Sixtus Ullo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know you've been on the back end pulling some strings, getting together the heavyweights that make sunrise.
Helen, good morning.
Oh. Today is the 1st of December.
1st December, and your good morning.
1st December, and this is the energy you are bringing. Bro nyeba. It's beginning to look a lot like Chris. Oh, this is the day you met your wife.
It was of all the thing. Why not my firstborn?
Oh, well, she facilitated that. So if today is the day you met her, even better. I think that's an even better day to celebrate. what happened today on the 1st of December, many moons ago?
You were going to say something.
All right. I've been duly noted. I was just going to end by saying that a quarter of students obtaining F9 in maths examinations. I hope we'll be hearing some more on how to rectify this. That is certainly not good. I mean, the Ghanaian Times also captures the story of the referral of Appiah-Ampofo into the Privileges and Immunities Committee. I'm sure it's something we'll be getting some more on. And this one, okay. This is also on the WAEC release of 2025 WASI results. All right, some of the stories I think we've duly sunk our teeth into. We still have issues of religious tolerance front and center. It's captured on page 7. There is a feature here by Alhaji Mohammed Osman. He says religious tolerance makes or breaks a peaceful society. I was listening with a lot of concern over the weekend to some of the commentary that we have on our various current affairs programs, and I think it was apt for us to dedicate some slots last week to this conversation, and I think we have to tread cautiously. That's what I'm going to say about that conversation. We have to tread cautiously how we proceed with this conversation, balancing out convention or character, as Sixtus would call it, and balancing out the Constitution. And maybe the conversation ended with maybe the route to take in this instance might not be the courts necessarily.
There are those who've argued that, look, this has to come out of court because there's the Peace Council again. The Peace Council spoke about an existing MOU, which they believe that should continue to serve its purpose in terms of allowing the people a place to just worship. It's not going to completely change what it is that pertains with the what's that? There's a word. The church sponsoring the school, they call it something. The mission school's purpose, right? And so there can be a middle ground. Not everything has to be litigated. But it's also an opportunity.
The majority of the schools, there really is not a problem.
Very key point. When you drill it down,
it's a few of the schools where these issues are coming up, and we are sadly beginning to make it look like
it's
a Christian Muslim fight in Christian schools across the country.
I think that's a key point, Sixtus, that actually this is not a majority issue at all.
No, it's not. Because in Maoli school, when it was time for fasting, I know that the breakfast was reserved for our Muslim brothers, and so sometimes if it's porridge, they keep it for them, and when it's time to break their fast, then you see them holding their jugs because they use that one to break the fast, and then they will subsequently get their own food and all of that. And so it never was a problem. The church service and all those things was like it was a gathering for students. That's why announcements were made and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're supposed to be there, but it didn't also mean they could not go about their prayer.
I've read quite a lot of interesting stuff on social media, on Facebook particularly.
Right.
Various perspectives, people giving their stories. Some even, I didn't go to a mission school because my parents thought that I wouldn't be allowed to practice my faith. And that is simply not the case. These things that are happening, they're happening in a handful of schools across the country. But we are beginning to make it look like some war between Christians and Muslims in Christian schools. And look, I have argued, and I stand by I have no problem. In fact, I agree with those who say it's a human rights problem or question. But if we are talking about human rights, whose rights are we talking about? The rights of the mission school to enforce its practices and beliefs and doctrines, or the right of you who is attracted by the same practices of the mission school and you have sent your child there, or your child has come there? We need to be able to find a middle ground so that, like I said the other time, a lot of the mission schools, look, Helen, we can have this argument. Take the WAEC rankings of schools.
Yeah.
the top 10, I dare say the top 20 or 30 of the schools in Ghana today are mission schools.
Yeah, because they started the schools way back.
Not even that. It is the standards that are enforced in these schools. And for a lot of us, we think that if they force you to go and sit at mass, it's they are wasting your time or they are forcing you to become a Christian. But it is a certain principle of abiding by time. And the last time I was explaining it here, even in a seminary that I went to, if it was time for preps and you were found in the chapel, you will be punished.
So regardless of your religious leaning, you couldn't even be there.
It is just to tell you that there must be a time for everything and your life must be ordered along a certain pattern. So that's a discipline you must learn. So for the schools
that have now become, shall I say, the center, the minority that have caused this conversation, what would be the big deal if they pick some of the tact that these other schools have been able to use for so long that they're never on the radar? Certain schools will never find themselves on the radar.
I will condemn, and I disagree with any school that says that because you are a mission school, you will not allow Muslims in your school to pray. Or because you are a Muslim mission school, you see, that's the other thing. We use the mission as if it's only Christians.
Yeah.
But because you are a Muslim mission school, you will not allow Christians in your school to have their church service. I'll condemn it.
Right.
The person should be allowed to practice his faith or his belief, but it does not mean that your practice of your faith or your belief should also disrupt the activities of the school or the discipline of the school. And that one too, I'll disagree with anybody who argues along that because what? So you have to pray, and so everybody is in class, and you say that you are going to pray.
For sure.
No, the school has a certain...
So my question is the same. For the schools that often find themselves at the center, what can they pick from those who have been able to have a successful marriage of different faiths and still kept that mission school integrity?
The character, yes.
What makes it so difficult that some schools never find themselves on the radar? Their standards are still high. They are never at the center. And others say, lie. We're always at the center because they are the minority, and like you said, it has now been blown up. Can we?
And I can also use Muslim schools that enforce strict discipline.
Yes.
And the other day at the back there, I was telling you the story of if it's changed now, I don't know. But back then, there's a training college in Wa called Jahan. Whether you are a Christian, even if you are a Reverend Sister and you enrolled in Jahan, you wear hijab.
Right.
That it is, and I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't have a problem with that because the school believes that there's a certain Islamic practice, which is wearing a veil, which enforces a certain discipline. What the discipline is, I don't know. But the school believes that Islamic or faith-based practice enforces a certain discipline that molds the student in one way or the other. And the school is not just for academic learning. It's also for character formation. It's to enhance, make you a better person for the larger society. So if I don't want to wear hijab, I don't want to wear jalabia, then I won't go to Jahan. I'll go to John Bosco Training College, which is a Christian school, where I can dress however I want, if that is what they are allowed there. So the fact that you are attracted to the school by a certain set of principles, don't get into the school and turn around and try to change the principles. Then you argue human rights. So the school doesn't have rights?
Thankfully,
the mission that establishes the school doesn't have rights? I think that we have to, I agree, we have to be able to balance it.
We have to
learn from the other schools that are managing chart a middle path so that everybody is happy.
There are those as well who say that, look, this possibly could be the time to have the courts determine this matter once and for all, because it comes up every now and then.
And this one, dear,
renowned lawyer Kwame Kufu says that, look, this particular matter, when it comes to empaneling, it should not be 5. It should be possibly 11 or 13 justices of the Supreme Court will sit on this matter, and they make a determination.
This cannot help. A court cannot help us in this matter. You know.
No, I'm just bringing the different perspectives.
No, I know.
And
this has been a long-standing fight, and the missions themselves are fighting the state for a return of the full management of mission schools to the missions. And I know about this fight from the 2010s, when I started following my church activities and programs and Catholic Education Unit, their events. And the man who is now the president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, he's always been at the forefront of this fight. That and I'm speaking specifically to the Catholic Church.
Okay.
The Catholic Church has been particular about the management of its schools because it wants to be able to enforce a certain discipline, mold students into what a lot of the schools have, what they call Christian gentlemen. That's a term that they have used. They are not forcing you to become a Christian, but they are instilling a certain character in you that when you are in the society, then you are able to live with other members of the society. That argument is not to say that Christians live the best of life or they are the best examples in society. No, far from that. That's not the argument at all. But the argument is that it is that discipline that allows the student to be able to sit down, study his books, and pass the exam. And that is why you will find the mission schools at the top of the rankings every single year. The F9s you were talking about, check. If you like, let's check. How many of those F9s came from the mission schools?
Now, Sixtus, thankfully, the conversation so far has not even been with the participation of laid down practices. It's been with the omission of one being able to incorporate their faith into the regular proceedings. Thankfully, this court case that has catapulted this back into our spheres hasn't centered around why should I attend. And most of the conversation, at least from where I sit, hasn't been about, oh, I don't want to go to church service, I came in, I knew what to expect. It's about being the omission of me also being able to add my faith, also practice. Now that the conversation has expanded, we've gotten into that sphere, but it was a very specific issue on a very specific number of schools, and now it has blown up. I think mostly people say, I knew what I was getting into. I'll attend your practices, I'll go to church, I'll go to mass, but I also want an opportunity.
Want a better,
education. But I also want an opportunity to, it was two things. I want to pray, I want to fast. And now we've opened this kind of
and the wearing of the hijab also
hijab, yes.
Strongly, I think 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yes. In fact,
it also came up strongly.
That also, even in this conversation, I opened up the phone lines and a few callers actually went on that tangent. So the participation, not so much, I think, an issue that I've monitored, but the omission of one being able to also incorporate their religious practice into the day-to-day.
I have read on Facebook a number of people from other schools who also testify that they were able to attend to conduct their faith-based practices in addition to
exactly those that are
living the life that the schools dictate. And I think there's even one school that one person who said in the school they had an earmarked place for Muslims who wanted to pray.
So
the church you must attend.
He said his school, they had one designated. You attend
the church.
But they give you some time. You have your designated area. And it didn't interfere with anything.
So that's what I'm saying, that it is not, it's beginning to look as if it's some national fight between Muslims and Christians.
I think we all can come to that. We all can come to that.
And somebody even made the unfortunate statement that then we won't come to your school. But who is forcing you to go to whose school?
When we get to that part, that's the part I get.
Forcing you to go
so
to whose
when
school?
I get, that's the part that for me starts to degenerate. Then don't come here. And I think, no, let's
because
not go
see,
there.
Helen, the truth of the matter is that all the missions, whether Christian, Muslim, Hindu, African traditional religion. I was looking for.
You have a right to practice that religion.
They set up these institutions also to propagate their faith. It is part of the reason they also established.
That's right.
That they think that it is a way to evangelize.
Right.
And if you have not been part of the evangelism team of your church or your mosque, you won't understand that.
That's true.
It is not just to give academic education. It is also to expand.
Not even just character building.
Not just character building.
Yeah.
So if you turn around and tell the school that, okay, then don't do this, don't do that, I have the right not to do it, then don't come to the school. But we shouldn't get
so the conversation is nuanced. That much we're all very aware of, and I'm sure there'll be the opportunity to have a go at this again. But let's talk to you about Rosebank International University, because it's a world-class university right here in Ghana, a strong South African university and a brand of the Advtech Group, Africa's largest private education provider with 146 schools across 5 African countries and over 100,000 learners, and partly owned by the World Bank through the IFC. Rosebank International University is fully accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, the British Accreditation Council, GTEC in Ghana, City and Guilds in the UK, and Capsicum Culinary Studio. At Rosebank International University, we offer a Doctor of Business Administration, MBA, Master of Science, and Master of Philosophy in Digital Marketing, Bachelor of Supply Chain Management, targeting professionals in freight forwarding, customs, etc. We offer hospitality and culinary arts, available at diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate levels, our ICT as PSC, Information Technology and Business Systems, and IT Computer Application Development, all carefully designed to equip you with the skills and qualifications needed for a successful global career. Our mission is simple: inspiring excellence. Admissions are now open for the January 2026 intake. Visit our modern campus at Airport Commercial or Pebia House, Accra, or apply online at www.riuc.edu.gh. Rosebank International University, building global citizens. We're going for this break. When we return, we'll set the stage for you to call us and then be a part of the conversation as well. Stay with us. This is the 3FM Sunrise.
92.7 3FM. 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 92.7 3FM.
This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances. Happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 05311
56910154. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Egbeta.
Yes, sir. I trust that you're well. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Hello, Mr. Appiah-Ampofo Sixtus.
Professor, it's good to hear from you. Talk to us quickly.
Muslims Otherwise, I said we are not at war with them. We are not at war with them. That's why the education system naturally, over school, you the parent, you have the opportunity to choose schools for your own world. Argentina, I'm impose that one. Say be a human right. Into a law, a human right is there. Also among Kwala school. They should impose them on the way school. Say Chinchaya are there also then the school should allow them to do. And yes, I need the two away my way. So I remember Medinoco school within the way Islamic rules now, a baby schools now. I mean, the reason why I'm Medinoco, so I should obey. And yeah, the reason why even the case you can, otherwise a court. I mean, to please who? Yet all my mass, my guess and the attempt them cases that court. Is it based on if the way they twist on Namado with their social media? And now look at their people, Musa down question, forcing then a banner anyway, and what to abate one, who anyway your bad day. I mean, and you're dominating all my mo, or be one writer, and then the LGBT people no. And also one for where the one writer. Mission schools, Christian schools, almost are bred to put their schools to this level. The same thing as Islamic where schools is almost are, but it's about the recognition of the mission school and the way Islamic school, where Yabada about where at least and where was in a banner. Yanted a wire for ever complain there.
Thank you for calling Prakash. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Mawuena.
Yes, I trust that you're well too.
By the grace of God, I'm fine. This is Bright calling from Abosoka.
Bright in Abosoka, it's good to have you call us again this morning and talk to us.
Thank you. Let me use this opportunity to greet Honorable Alaji Yakondo, in charge of operation, and Honorable Peter Key, and Honorable Alaji Raouf, and Honorable Kari McAfee in our CDC. Muslim, any Christian, in Sanfo, and before Uba choose school, who knew rules are a war school. And Adewe, a yadia, a dawa da, and yet I say, and a cocoa was idea on. You school, among Yama, as of your school, edible school no bano. Who call on ma, no way be super pepe, that be BI fine. And Yafina, Yadia, same way, a cocoa, now quite say, dear Christian, and Muslim, and I say Muslim, and Christian, maybe they be. Rules now, no, among Colano, and the rules so. Because in school, a war order dada. They buy us to school no more, and no interest. Rules now a war school no more. Only so. Interest. Muslim any Christian, in Naya any Pabako, Obia and Obia. Now share special prosecutor. Nipacho office now ye be here pa benefit pa ben and it may benefit our special prosecutor the office no more. They be benefit be no yes taxpayers money the German foka or just like that and then can offer that still or that's what you say. One is a compact and offer at the ball my women they be san past finance minister bia or we need to be at your man ganemu. Can you for us and finance minister when we need tema what could you now say or concern we are.
Thank you very much as well, Bryce, for calling. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you're calling us from. Please trust that you're well.
I'm good. I'm doing good. I trust you well as well.
Yes, I am too.
This Ellie. Calling from Galilee.
Ellie from Galilee. It's good to have you call us. Talk to us.
My submission is just simple. What happens to when you go to Rome, do what the Romans do? It's very, very simple. I don't see why it's like we know what the rules are, but sometimes we intentionally want to bend the rules. It's just simple. I have, let's say, my facility, And this is how the facility is being run. Just like you have TV3. TV3 know how they go about their day-to-day runnings. So you simply have to abide by it without having a problem. If you know you are not okay with it, then what is your business being there? So it's just simple. When you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. I believe that it's even an opportunity to learn other faiths, to know why maybe this faith is practiced this way. So if maybe I'm a Muslim and I decide to go to a Christian school, I think it's even an opportunity to learn why Christians go about their worship this way. Because one thing about me in particular, I don't believe in religion, because I see religion to be more of segregation. So if you want to be open-minded, the good book even say there was a test all spirit. So why won't you give yourself the opportunity to even learn a different thing altogether? Because it doesn't take away who you are. That's one thing I believe. So it's just simple. This matter being at court, I think they should just find a way and bring this out of court.
And take it out of court. Yeah. Thank you very much as well, Ali, for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mawuena.
Yes, sir. Trust that you're well.
I'm doing well, sir.
Fantastic. I am too.
We thank God. My name is Ajanawan from Domi, Kwabinya.
Ajanawan, it's good to hear you and have you call us as well. Talk to us.
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to Madin Gibril, Deputy Election Director. He's hot. He's right in Northern region about our election coming on. He never lose as when he become the Deputy Election Director. And also all NDC appointees and the ministers, the good ones, the bad ones, very soon we shall fulfill them. Yes. Mr. Mawuena, you see, when you go to schools, I am pleading with the parents and whoever, they should understand the rules and regulations in their school. You see, when it comes to OSP, I am very sad when people are ignorant about their job. I decided not to talk about it because OSP have declared some people disclaimer and wanted list. So, and also he put an amount that if you know where these people are, you can bring them and there is a reward. So, it's open to us and everyone. And we should also understand that what they are doing is another process. It's not an event. So Ghanaians should come down. The expectation is, you see, I'm very sad when I see the learned people who are talking. They know the right thing. They know what is going on. But I don't know if they decided to tarnish the office because we have so many security agencies in the country. Why only that office? Thank you.
Thank you as well for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mawuena.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Shaq.
So, Shaq, talk to us. Well. I am too. I am doing well.
Special greetings to yourself and your team. Sure. Wherever Johnny is, we send him greetings.
Sure thing.
Mawuena, I want to start with the issue about the Wesley girls and the Muslims. You see, on April 15, 2024, there was a memorandum of an understanding that was agreed and adopted by the government-assisted and private mission schools. As part of that, the mission schools agreed that they will allow the Muslims to fast and practice their religion. That document is there. If you want, you can find out from the Ministry of Education. So welcome this argument that the Muslims, the mission schools have the standard. So if you cannot abide by the standard, you should go away. Please, we must educate the public. There is a document that is why the Muslims have a right, despite the fact that they find themselves in mission schools, to even go along with, because it's religion. After all, are we not all praying to the same God? It's just a different route, but it is the same God. So we must not discriminate. We are coexisted from 1957 up to date. The Muslims, the Christians, that's why we say Ghana is a secular state. So please, you must educate the public. My second issue has to do with the special prosecutor. We are begging the Attorney General that it is part of his power that he has extended to SP. That is why he's doing his work. In fact, it is someone will say it is an infant, department, and they are still learning. So I will be of the opinion that we should still give them some chance. In the past, we have heard people who were saying that OSC is siding with who in this country. And the information that we have now, we were told that the operator left this country on the 9th of January 2025. What did the government also do about it? We were here in this country. FBI came to this country, collaborated with government to arrest fraudsters. Can't the same government also collaborate with the U.S. and also bring operator back? Mawuena?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Yes, so we must not be going hot on board. It's neither here nor there. And we know there are people who are behind this agenda of moving the OSC, and they'll go and take the position. I tell them they are all hypocrites. And God will judge them one after the other. Have a good morning.
Thank you very much for calling as well. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Trust that you're well.
My name is Frank Naru, calling from Domain.
Frank, I hope you are well. Talk to us.
Openi, I'm afraid I'm more about Papa. I'm in my boss, Madini and Mr. Famous Dali, Distam. Oh, Sukato, Sadru, Mukana Papa, and I can do as my communication officer. Honest to the channel. Openi, Yepe Asunji, Ghana, Muslim, Christian, yes, has a train Ghana, and Yenle. In the Yenna, addicted to where be. Obesa ama basabasa esi no one jam. Ana ye papa Mahama, ye nyina ni so de oya so we hene. Ana education minister, odo so ye Muslim. Ye papa Mahama president, odo so ye Christian. Community be na FCC. Eti we hwi ti yo mama for isafie na Ghana de bibie no beti esi. E we Yesu dim. Papa ni de to so yenu. Ye free education minister. Afu yen kola ni ku wi school opening an ko yi kwa. Oh, opening math no must be yankasa. Adenti. Yen one say na me opening yes education minister. Ka cut off name ya mani mo ni university no. O ke do be kwa no be kata. Na so be fa ayina si e ti anan no fa e opening because afu yen kola na feeling math ni too much opening. If you have a shaman, 1% is really massive in that country. Not bad, and the other 12 photo. Opening, yes, Roman, yes, 7 of all in a education minister. Master and Guardian, Colano Maria Fino, or Mushabi Vicacamon, because the land and no more. Then I prefer about your time, yes, Papa, at the moment. They have a Mahama time in the Otacolan, 1 thing is here. And the way you know, I said before war. The greatest test was important. And we sent one by force. Oh, my baby, don't let him go school. My traffic bad thing. It's a police who could be grateful for you. Yes, a master, when you say, what traffic I won't even pass it. Then what I say, 9, 8, 7, 9, 10. Yes, so company will go very nice on the year.
Thank you. Thank you very much as well for calling. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, please. Atu, let's hear from you quickly.
I think they're going to put me up as you. Travel against you to perform my moment to come to my friends because anything. Or my teacher, you be a don't be a moment to a concan. But what I say, and the woman, and all my brains on the one mama buy, and never echo you, call me echo you. Ever never because the end people ain't nothing because of never because I'm going to be getting to them and that you're going to go to the air cough, send an hour, my against your temple too. It's an entertainment. This is the amount of air Christmas. I'm not going to body or my mama said. Or one of the because in the old enormous 60%. Oh, the high sense. I'm a citizen. That's the discussion of opening them say. There's no particular record of the entire and quality of Santelli to know one Santelli, you are Mayan to be a party. And then you use to be a party. But if you know Mount Pena and net of what they can provide the air come up and say, market, a possibility. This is the minister of put me down at the Boise, Fana and the Boise, every on the bottom of the young crown. Now, the moment you see that, the moment you see that, I'm anything before. And almost all my and the almost only everything that someone put on the on again to tell us, and just another. And I'll play different of buy a significant, and I'm not a second.
Thank you very much as well, Atu, for calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mawuena.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is Abolo. You can call me Mr. Common.
Abolo, it's good to have you call us again this morning. Talk to us.
Mawuena, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appointees, some of them are doing well. Courage McCaffrey, your own brother, Azuma at Port, and Alaji Okondo. They are doing very well, but some of the appointments we have been hearing these days, Mawuena, I know you are not happy. Some of the videos, a person will be destroying a party property. Later, the person will be awarded an appointment. Mawuena, you are not happy, and I know. Mawuena, me, I'm not happy about the WASI result. I don't know what have happened. Mawuena, I don't know what happened, but it looked like my party NDC, we are not smart. Mawuena, this is the first graduate of the NDC under John Dramani Mahama, second term. Look at the placement time. Look at what happened. Mawuena, and look at the result. Mawuena, I don't know what is happening. And I think my party have to wake up. I think something has to be done. Because, Mawuena, I've been affected with these results, and I don't know what have happened. And I know it's not me alone. But I think the authorities have to wake up. Because when you look at some of the results, you can say something. You can say something. And I think something must be done. This is the first government under John Dramani Mahama. All good work done. This is what has happened. And I think if my party will not be smart, they will be doing all good things, but people also will use the other means to destroy them. Have a good morning.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, please.
Please, I'm called Great Alaye.
Great Alaye. Great Alaye, talk to us quickly.
Yeah, that's me. Adrafa, we are Bamagala, Yamishra. My young was to get a key. My member in Chakete, my dominant constituency, the MP. The Ya Asantua, or the MP, and my, and I, God, East, Mr. Abu, so tell me car, my child, Papa. Marina, women. Yemi one pa say your students. Sebi English no math. Owo ti bi felu omo papa. Me say English masters no teachers man na say math teachers ni na entimi teaching nkoda no yi anase nkoda no so na abon. Because anytime we are on the cultural welfare, problem yenya a free saho English or math. It means I was a young folk from the teachers, math teachers and English teachers from Omoniro because they are folk from the Omuya but young fellow teachers, special prosecutor. Let's do a papa and then because they say you what you are. Say me say obey say you say on person so you do not so what you say a planting or planning yes sir all former appointees of person on through or more the day you open to me matter say what obey president say Sebi, a Jumana Ubono, Papa no Ubawa, when simple and short. The Sanonempe or Dinga no Bois, now Yentim fight to corruption, and yes, our corruption, no, I know you're doing to do. No, Papa couldn't mean to not be a.
Thank you very much for calling as well. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mawuena.
Yes, sir. I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm managing under the leadership of incompetent John Dramani Mahama. This is Frederick from Angloga in the Votary.
Frederick, let's hear you as well quickly.
Yeah, I want to use your medium to extend my greetings to this noble personality, the former President Nana-Addo and the former Vice President Dr. Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia, Sheikh for that matter. As a man of substance that he is the next flag bearer for New Patriotic Party. My brother, Nana-Addo and Bawumia should come for their stone. When they brought free SHS, they take good care of the students. They make sure they put policies in place, serious supervision under the GES. That over the years, we never heard these students fell. These are the number of students. At least we had only 32% as of 2020, 2024, 2023. 2024 is only 21%. That fell. Majority of the students fell, passed their English and mathematics and science. But under John Dramani Mahama, these are the results that we are seeing. I remember 2014, my former business school, they started from 28. While we at end our time, we ended at 24. They started their results, basic school, from 28 to 40 something. I don't even know. These are the second coming of John Dramani Mahama. These are the structures we see under GS. But these are the people who are promising Ghanaians better education, criticize Nana-Addo and Bawumia government, where these people are so serious about education, they put policies in place, school feeding programs, everything is working perfectly. But John Dramani Mahama and the NDC deceive Ghanaians. Now we hand over the country to them. These are the things we are going to see. They will fail students for tour, and then we will see graduates on the streets. We'll see
I'm not sure the president. I'm not sure the president is responsible for failing
students. He's the head of the country.
If you say the president failed students,
who failed Ghanaians?
The president doesn't fail students. Let's be honest to ourselves.
Why don't they do refer to Akufo-Addo and Bawumia?
The president does not fail students. He doesn't mark papers, Frederick.
But why you were in this country?
I wasn't there when the people were making the comments. But when you're on my platform, you have to speak to facts, and the president does not fail students.
Media general platform that they've been criticizing Akufo-Addo.
If you criticize a president on another issue, I'm telling you that you've been speaking. I haven't prevented you from. I'm telling you that the president does not fail students. So when you say the president has failed students, that is a factual inaccuracy, and you will be corrected on that basis.
Then why do they refer to Akufo-Addo?
I think you refuse to understand what it is that I'm saying, so I'll just have to let you go. Let me pick one final call, and then I will make way for sports. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mawuena.
Yes, sir. Give us your name and where you're calling us from, please. Ninungwa, it's good to have you call us. You're my final caller. Bill is here to do sports, so talk to us.
Thank you so much. God bless you. The good work you are doing for Mother Ghana and your team. My greeting to Honorable Chairman Joe and the Honorable Abulu and the Honorable Kudu Adupo. I think the committees and supporters all. Sir, Christians and Muslims, send your peace at you, at the same time, the other brain, fighting Mama Jane. Let me tell you something. A mamma, a chimney, sort of my school for Nick Kaiko, my yet thrown by you. Sort of my school for Nick Kaiko. Personal, your books are. Near the better class 1, and one the better class 2, class 3, 4, 5, and maybe short to my year. It is Missiranu, so or Barry those who are all kind of bad woman, say, or say, for now, I buy Papa Wabano, or Bema Calico on the bar, you bet to me the accident Colano, San Colano control BC, on the party, short to my say, I call him, so any year, short to my say, and then yes, or Baba the criticize, short to my say, a bangway, see school down the bridge, besides, say now. Previous abino, what you completely short to my here. What just school down the boom plan song, green track, yellow track, blue track, short to my here. It may say, MPP need to be papa via Yama or Magana, Mixira, or Muba, or more form support Emma Doma, more.
Thank you.
Young benefit.
Thank you very much, Ninungu. I said you were going to be my final caller, but let me just give one more chance to somebody else. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Aziz Ndomi, you're the final caller for the morning, and this time I mean final caller. So talk to us briefly.
May God bless you for giving me opportunity. Mbacho, you mentioned on your case, no more, but no more quatinting our day who, but the Juma, we are now German, Nakupon Jim was away. But I'm the Pacho Momentia Caris Makasi, I was CDC, and I'm lawyer to Moba Domekwa Bioswa, MC, Honorable Agbo, and Trip. My boss, you are my final caller. Move straight to the point. No, move straight to the point. Otherwise, Bill is here. Where am I? Oh my, yeah, Bush is here. The MPP no suffer for them. No, Mumu here. What am I? That's the education MPP. That's what we buy. No, say. And therefore, to say that the young caller.
Your call has been put on hold.
Unfortunately, he's our final caller, but for some strange reason as well, he put us on hold, and so that wraps it. Bill is here. Yesterday...
Don't worry. I know what you're about to say.
What am I about to say?
My team. Arsenal. You're going to talk about Arsenal.
But it was the biggest game from the weekend.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So what else would you want to talk about?
Well... What I can say is we are still unbeaten at the Stamford Bridge in the last 7 games. That is 1. And 2, we played without our best defenders, our best centre-back partnership in the world. We didn't play with them, and we still got a draw.
That should not translate into the abysmal performance
it was
put
abysmal.
Up yesterday.
It was abysmal.
No, but it's not. It's actually not abysmal, because when you come up against Chelsea, whatever plan it is that you have, you can't play to
Are you a Chelsea fan?
You've never known?
So you're a Chelsea fan.
We disrupt.
We will meet you at the Emirates. Come to Emirates.
We'll be there to play you at the Emirates, and we'll see whether or not you'll still be on top of the table by then.
Oh, this December we are going to put daylight between ourselves and everybody. 9 fixtures in December, we will kill everybody.
You're winning all the 9 fixtures.
We are winning everything.
Fantastic. Today is what, the 1st of December?
Yes, today is the
2025.
Yes.
Billy Shen says Arsenal is winning all 9 fixtures in the month of December. Yeah. God willing, we'll be back to take stock of the 9 fixtures.
Yes.
And hopefully,
it will be done.
Hopefully they come out as
hopefully for you, but not for me.
No, that's for me. I pray that you win all 9. But if you don't, I'll be here. Why am I winning? I'll be here. Will I go somewhere?
I'll be here.
Absolutely. And so I'll be here. But 10-man Chelsea. What do you? What do you make of Reece James as well?
Oh, Reece James is top. Best RB in the Premier League. Without a doubt.
Thank you very much. Billy Shen will do sports now.
$92.7 FM. 92.7 3 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 FM. 7 3 FM.
Name is Bill Ishen. Let's start off from the domestic front, where Aduana FC failed to extend their lead at the summit of the Ghana Premier League after suffering their 3rd defeat of the season, while Asante Kotoko were forced to settle for an exciting stalemate with Mediama at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Here is a roundup of the action that happened at the venues as compiled by my colleague Mutala Yakubu.
Match day 12 of the Ghana Premier League came with some interesting results. Hartlepool, who had gone 3 games without a victory and relocated to the University of Ghana Sports Stadium, got a slim 1-0 victory over Vision FC. Ketsi and Mauli Wayo header from close range. Vision played well on the day, but could not find the equalizer as Hartlepool ran away with all points. Asante Kotoko back home, this time they took on Mediama, one of the strongest sides in the Ghana Premier League at the moment. And surprisingly, it was the Miners that took a 2-0 lead in the first half, and Kotoko had to fight their way and battle to end the game 2 goals from the likes of Peter Kwamidu and Sambo O'Neill, ensure that Asante Kotoko at least escape with a point in that one. There were wins for the likes of Hoho United, surprisingly, on the road, as they also got a 2-1 victory over Bechem United. And maybe any Gold Stars managed to defeat Aduana by a goal to nil. The likes of Swedro All Blacks all end a draw in match day 12 as they are looking forward to getting better in match day 13.
That was a wrap by my colleague Mutala Yakubu on match day 12 in the Ghana Premier League. Now, following the Phobians' victory, head coach Didi Dramani maintained that despite the win, his team needed to improve on their decision making.
But the fact that you are playing with a more transitional team, and then you are playing with against a side that is more youthful, and so you expect that at some point they will play, and which is very normal in the game, that try to control them when they are in good shape, and then try to exploit when you can find the right spaces. I think that we found the right spaces, but still we need to improve on our decision making.
That was Masoud Didi Dramani, the head coach of Hearts of Oak. Meanwhile, Vision FC's Nana Ajeman, who is the head coach of the side, explained his disappointment and the team's weaknesses when it came to the far post.
Before we got out of the dressing room, or even the whole week, I've been telling them we conceded 2 goals from set piece. The ball went to the far post, and then the opposition brought it back, and then we conceded. So the whole week we worked on, the far post, how to defend it, and everything. Here in the dressing room, I told my boys that, look, of course, it's Didi Dramani. I'm sure he's seen those 2 goals. I'm sure he's realized that, we're weaker in the far post, so that's exactly what he's going to go do. So whenever there is free kicks to the box or corner kicks and stuff like that, the first thing we should do is cover the far post. And of course, you realize that we conceded the goal from the far post. The header came from the far post before the second header connected into the goal. So, it's very, very disappointing, especially if it's something that we worked on the whole week. You come into the game and the boys are not able to do it. It's very, very disappointing.
That was Nana Ajeman, the coach of Vision FC. Still on the Ghana Premier League, assistant coach of Asante Kotoko, Prince Yawusu, says he's content with the result against Mediama at home.
I'll tell you the fact. I'm happy. Because we couldn't go out here losing all the 3 points. It was very, very tough for us, but the boys did very well to fight, give a second half, a good fight like that. So we are very, very happy with the results. We're okay. Just look out for the next game. We could no way go out of here this game with a lose. Definitely, I think we've gotten a point here. I'm okay with it. Because if you look at our schedule, it's been a very busy one. We've been all over the country, I'll tell you. And then to come and perform this way with one of the best teams in the league now, I think the boys have done very, very well.
That was Kotoko's assistant coach, Prince Yawusu. Now, Ibrahim Tanko, the head coach of Mediama SC, believes that his team lost concentration, having thrown away a 2-0 lead.
We lost concentration, and honestly, I should say also, we have to make changes because of injuries, and it was really, really painful. After leading 2-0. And 2-2, but this is football. We have to go and then work on our mistakes. Yes, I think, like you said, maybe we change a bit earlier. So last 20 minutes, we don't have anyone to change, and you could see that some of our players are really tired. Yeah, but like I said, it's football. Normally before the game, if you say I should take 1 point, I will agree. But how the game went, definitely we deserve the 3 points. But that's football.
That was Ibrahim Tanko, the head coach of Mediama SC. Heading over to women's football, the Black Queens sealed a 3-1 victory over Aston Villa women in a behind-closed-doors friendly encounter on Friday. The Black Queens continue to step up preparations for their high-profile international friendly against England's Lionesses on Tuesday. Now, women's football expert Akosi Eje takes a look at their setup and readiness as a team.
It's the final international break for women's football, and the Black Queens of Ghana currently in UK, where they will be playing against the Lionesses of England on Tuesday. The team have already played a behind-closed-door friendly with Aston Villa, where they won 3-1. But remember that England are using these games to prepare for the 2027 Women's World Cup, as well as also thank their fans for all their support throughout their campaign at the Euros. In what the English team term the homecoming series, they have already played 2 games. One against Brazil, which they lost 2-1. The other against Australia, which they won 3-0. The Lionesses will be playing against China today before playing the final game in the homecoming series with the Black Queens of Ghana. Remember, the last time the Black Queens of Ghana played a competitive game were their AFCON qualifiers against Egypt, which they won both home and away. Coach Kim Lasby-Okegrin has invited a new player into the fold, Benedict Simon from Sibet, who happens to be a defender, and hopefully her addition to the team tightens the defense of the Black Queens. According to the media officer for the team, Matilda, this is a game they would hope that the players would just go all out, have fun, but most importantly, worry about how they are able to stick to their game plan against this English team, knowing that the English team are the champions of Europe. They do not have much expectation of the results, but are focusing on how the team will function.
That was a report by Akosieje on the Black Queens. Now proceeding to game week 13 of the English Premier League, leading leaders, that is Arsenal, only managed a point in a 1-1 draw against 10-man Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Mikel Arteta, head coach of the London club, insists Arsenal deserved respect after the Premier League leaders battled to that bruising 1-1 draw with title rivals Chelsea at the end of a grueling week.
Well, it's been a big week, starting with the derby, how emotional and the necessity that the intention we have to win it, then to play Bayern Munich 3 days later. We lost players in those games, and today, for example, we had to play a partnership that we never played before in a really difficult match. The captain is still not here, the 9 is still not here, Kai is still not here. We lost Leo in midweek as well. But the team had to react to that, and I think overall it's been a really positive week because the difficulty was immense. But I have this flavor that today we should have and we could have won the game, and we haven't, and that's a learning point from it.
That was Mikel Arteta, the head coach of Arsenal. Now, head coach of Chelsea, Enzo Maresca, believes his side were the better side despite the numerical disadvantage.
I think we showed that we are in the right direction again. I always said the same because I really think that we go in the right direction. The performance has been, I just said, the players, wow, has been fantastic. We were much better team than them, 11v11. And then with 10 players, it's more difficult. But the way they deal with that situation has been outstanding.
That was Enzo Maresca, the head coach of Chelsea. Now, at Selhurst Park, Manchester United came from behind to beat Crystal Palace by 2-1 to move 7th on the league table. Elsewhere in London, Alexander Isak finally scored his first goal for a troubled Liverpool to inspire a much-needed 2-0 win over West Ham United. Arne Slot, the head coach of the Merseyside club, believes Liverpool fans have been phenomenal throughout his turbulent period.
It says a lot about the club and about the fans, that they were not only supportive for me but for our whole team. I think if you have such a run of form we are having and you have an away game and the away end is so full and supports the team from start to finish, including me indeed, that's special, not only after the 1-0 already a 0-0 from, like I said, from start to finish. So it tells you that this club is always together, but maybe even more in difficult moments, and then they appreciate probably even more what you've done for the club and support you then and I think that's what makes a club special as well. To support someone when he's successful is much easier than to support someone or a team or an individual when things are as tough as they are now.
That was Arne Slot, the head coach of Liverpool. Still on the Premier League, though, Phil Foden delivered in dramatic fashion, scoring the first and the 91st minutes to seal Manchester City's 3-2 victory over Leeds United on Saturday in a breathless finish that kept Pep Guardiola's side in the Premier League title race. Let's now hear from the head coach Pep Guardiola after that victory.
The game was not a perfect play in the first half, but was comfortable, should be over. For the chances that we had, we didn't concede, and after that, brilliantly, Daniel changed the system like Leverkusen has done, the 5-3-2. And after that, we concede the goal we give away in the first minute, and after, with the way we have to move and the build-up is completely different, with the shape take influence in the way you played. And football is emotions, in that moment is emotions, concede the second, but after we make a step up and and we react really, really well. And after when Omar came in and Cherky came in and put more players in the box that have to be in the last minute, had to play in here, put the ball quick to the box and more players in the box. Because in that position, the process doesn't exist. Being with fullbacks or wingers, it doesn't matter.
That was Pep Guardiola speaking there. Let's move on to basketball, where the Los Angeles Lakers rode to a 133-121 win over the New Orleans Pelicans, moving to 15 wins to 4 losses on the season and strengthening their contested grip on second place in the Western Conference. Luka Doncic put up 34 points, 12 rebounds and 7 assists to continue his prolific scoring season. Zach Edey of the New Orleans Pelicans put up 32 points, 17 rebounds and 5 blocks, becoming the first player in franchise history to have a game with at least 30 points and 15 rebounds and 5 blocks. Elsewhere, Sacramento Kings had no matchup for Edey, who knocked down 16 of 20 shots. The 7'3" big was the only Memphis player to exceed 16 points. So Zach Edey, playing for Memphis Grizzlies hits 32 points, 17 rebounds and 5 blocks. Let's finish off in Atlanta, where the first game of the season featuring Joel Embiid, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey all healthy for Philadelphia featured plenty of fireworks, but Jalen Johnson, who hit 41 points, 14 rebounds and 7 assists, stole the show, stepping up in double overtime to seal Atlanta Hawks' 142-134 victory. So that is the updates from the NBA, and that's it for the sports segment here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Ishen. We'll see you same time on Tuesday with more updates from the world of sports. Until then, have a great morning.
92.7 3FM. 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 92.7 3 FM. 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 92.7 3 FM.
Locked in live on 3FM Sunrise, on 3FM 92.7. And as we get into the new year, Bill's Microcredit is here to support your dreams. Can you believe it? It's the 1st of December already. Well, if you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Are you already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Well, Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no Susu savings required. So wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. On 059-692-0833 or 030-220-0390 and get started. Terms and conditions apply. We're not just chasing wins, we are collecting them. The luckiest is back again, bigger and better, with chances to change your life. Let me show you 2 easy ways to get in the game. First, simply grab your phone and dial *712#. That's *712#. Choose option 1 to buy a ticket for yourself, or option 2 to buy for someone else. Do you want the system to generate a lucky ticket for you? Go with option 1 again. Prefer to choose your own lucky ticket number? That's option 2. Confirm your payments with Momo and boom, you are in. Now for the online wave, simply head over to theluckiestafrica.com. That's theluckiestafrica.com and register. Tap on community tickets to either pick your own lucky number or let the system pick one for you. You can also buy a ticket for someone else. When it's time to pay, use Momo if you are in Ghana, or pay with your card if you are abroad. One ticket can multiply your money by 500 times, and your whole community could win 10 times over. This is your golden chance. Hop on and let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere. The oil industry. In today's competitive energy market, success depends on how well you understand the business behind the barrel. So don't miss this exclusive training program on downstream petroleum operations and price risk management by Rosebank International University College. Master the skills to navigate price volatility, improve supply chain efficiency, and boost profitability. Have the knowledge that fuels performance. Now it's happening on the 6th, 13th, and the 20th of December 2025 at the Rosebank International University College, Appiah House, Airport, Accra. Now it's designed specifically for professionals in energy, finance, oil marketing companies, bulk distribution firms, and petroleum logistics. A special training will deepen your knowledge of the downstream value chain, from supply, storage, and distribution to pricing and regulatory compliance, to be facilitated by seasoned industry experts with years of experience in petroleum marketing, trading, and policy regulation. This is your chance to stay ahead in a fast-changing industry. Now you can register now by simply dialing 030-700-7800, or you can call Fred on 020-93-789-43, or simply visit www.riuc.edu.gh. Negotiation skills and abilities to turn challenges into opportunities. You want to lead with confidence and resolve conflicts like a pro. You want to master the art of effective negotiations and conflict management with confidence? Then don't miss the 3-day corporate training program on effective negotiation and conflict management skills by Rosebank International University College. Designed for managers, executives, and team leaders who want to lead with influence and resolve challenges with skill. Join top industry experts to learn powerful practical strategies to sharpen your skills on how to build consensus, resolve disputes, and achieve better outcomes, whether in business leadership or in everyday life. Empower yourself and your organization. Negotiate smart and lead effectively. It's happening on the 2nd, the 3rd, and also on the 4th of December at the Rosebank International University College, Appiah House, Airport, Accra. Now, who should attend this training program? Well, apart from managers at all levels, sales and marketing executives and practitioners, union leaders, board members, everyone needs to have the ability to negotiate, whether at the family or church level. There are limited seats available, so do register now by simply dialing 030-700-7800, or call Fred on 020-93-78943, or simply visit www.riuc.edu.gh. And truly on. Can you believe it's already December? Well, in about, 28 days time? Well, in 27 days, all roads lead to the Labadi Beach Hotel for the 3FM All-White Party. And Accra, are you ready? Because this December, the waves, the lights, and the music are calling. The 3FM All-White Party Beach Edition is coming to Labadi Beach Hotel. And this year, we're turning paradise into the biggest December shutdown of 2025. And we're not coming small. I mean, we never come small. But this year, we're doing it bigger, doing it better. Stone Boy is coming. Picanata is coming. And let's just say, more surprise artists are loading. Now listen, if you want to experience this night the right way, then you need a table. 3 levels, 3 moves, 1 unforgettable night. Now for the platinum package, we encourage it for those who don't do average. Private space, prestige, and premium treatment.
Enjoy your life because...
And the diamond package is where luxury meets energy. Now, if you opt for the gold package, that tells me you're bold, you're vibrant, and you want to be right in the heart of the party. Don't wait till it sells out. And we always sell out. If you and your squad are ready to own the night, simply call or WhatsApp us now on 053-2200-927. That's 053-2200-927. Book your table. The countdown has begun. 3FM All-White Party, the beach edition. The paradise meets the party. White Party.
It's Dr. Ray on the beat.
Family Fun Day is only a few days away. And you and I know that nothing matters more than the memories we create with those we love the most, like family. That is why Cerelac and 3FM 92.7 are hosting a beautiful day just for families. The Super Fun Family Fun Day. We're calling it hashtag FamiLac 2025. On December 5th at the Good Park, expect games, a kiddie zone, pampering zone for parents, countless games, music, family activities, and challenges. Come and enjoy great food, good drinks, and lots of Cerelac goodies and fun. And you know, Cerelac is not just for the young, it's also for the young at heart. To attend as a family, simply register now for free by dialing star 928 star 12 star 11 hash. That's star 928 star 12 star 11 hash. For vendor bookings or inquiries, do call 053-1100-927 or 053-2200-927. FamiLac 2025 is powered by Cerelac and of course brought to you by 3FM and 92.7. Cerelac says, care for them, count on us. 3FM 92.7 is your urban lifestyle radio. The hour of 8. We break now for a quick pause. When we come back, there's more. Don't go too far.
This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. Hashtag FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances. Happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial star 928 star 12 star 11 hash. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or 053-220-0927. Family Fun Day, powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. This December, give your kids what they really want. Your time, your full attention. Cerelac in partnership with 3FM presents Family Fun Day. #FamiLac 2025. A full-day adventure packed with games, family competitions, live performances happening Friday, 5th December at Good Park from 9 a.m. To register your family for free, dial *928*12*11#. For vendor bookings or inquiries, call or WhatsApp us on 053-11-00927 or
There's been long deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. There's been long deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. There's been long deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. There's been long deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. Years been long, deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. Years been long, deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up. Years been long, deadlines, hustle, pressure. Now it's time to breathe, to dance, to feel again. The music hits, waves crush, energy rises. You're surrounded by good people and golden light. This is your reset, your freedom, your joy. 3FM All White Party, the beach edition, where paradise meets the party. Labadi Beach Hotel, 28 December. Lock it up.
Wasi, and you know there's a lot of cause for concern actually, because 1 in every 4 candidates got an F9 in social studies in the 2025 Wasi, the worst among all core subjects. And perhaps I'm mistaken, but when we were back in school, Frederick, wasn't social studies like the course where everybody says you kill that with ease? That if you so I will be really interested to get a bit more in terms of the details as to why we're seeing this. Go on to Facebook, you find a bit of the statistics and the numbers that I'm running you through this morning as well, or YouTube where we're streaming, and be a part of it. And in the WASI again, more than half of the candidates failed core maths in the 2025 WASI, marking the worst performance in 7 years. All right, so more than half failed WASI, failed the core maths.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want.
So there's a concern for parents, for persons who roots for educationists alike. Why have we seen what it is that we've seen play out? And I have seen bits and pieces of the social studies paper as well. I think yesterday I was shared in a group in which I was, and I mean people were having very interesting conversations, asking the question whether or not the questions were so difficult that the students could not write as the pupils, as the students, and it leaves me wondering really whether or not we've made progress, or this is just how do we even term this, right? So this is an irregular occurrence, and as such we should not attribute a lot of reasoning or meaning to this to say that there's a cause for concern, because in terms of the span of the free SHS, it's been relatively okay. It's been good. We don't get these staggering numbers in terms of failure amongst many other things until this year, where core maths in particular, more than half of the students have failed, and in social studies 1 in 4 were failing as well. It's brought us to this conversation again. What have we not done right that perhaps we should be going back to? Is one of the many things that we'll be seeking to get an answer to as well for you this morning.
You can get it if you really want.
3FM Sunrise.
we'll connect with him as well on the phone lines and get a bit more in terms of experts on the phone lines to begin to dissect what we have seen play out.
It's for the worst 2025. We've indicated clearly in one of the statistics we put out that this is the performance of candidates in the published results, the core subjects. So if you look at the latter part of our statement, we still have some subject results of candidates from about 185 schools that we are scrutinizing and investigating, so that if they are not found culpable, these figures may change. The performance in some of the subjects would go up based on what the outcome of the investigations would be. So I would say that for now, we shouldn't be too quick to conclude that this year has not been a very good year, all the other stories that are going around on social media. But generally, this is the performance of the candidates as the examiners.
So which subjects did they perform worse or badly or comparatively not too good?
Well, if you look at the statistics that we have, I think that so far for the published results, the lowest performance will be in core mathematics. The best performance for this particular year has been English language.
You said the best performance has been what?
English language.
All right. What happened to the science and social studies? I mean, what's the statistics like?
Well, if you look at social studies, obviously there's been a steep drop in terms of performance by candidates. We are still putting together the chief examiner's report. I called for release, but it's not got to me yet. And in a casual conversation with my people in charge of social studies, I gathered that there was a little twist, if you want, of the question. Instead of the rote learning that we are used to, he asked them to apply the knowledge that they had, the various subjects. So, I mean, in that particular subject, the various topics.
That's John Kapi. Thankfully, he's joined us on the phone line this morning. Mr. Kapi, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning on the 3FM Sunrise. I trust that all is well, because I know from now till possibly when we have a full understanding of what's happened, your phone lines will be very, very busy.
Absolutely, you're right. I'm fine.
It's good. It's good to talk to you again. This results that we've seen help us begin to understand what it is that's played out. And so 1 in 4 failed social studies, over 50% failed math. Give us a bit more in terms of the details in summation from the 2025 WASSCE results.
I thank you and good morning to your listeners. Basically, we have indicated clearly that the results that we have brought out are representative of the number that we have published so far. There are still a number of them that have been withheld for further scrutiny and investigation. So we wouldn't say that this is representative of the entire cohort that wrote the examination this year. However, the figures that you see over there certainly are not encouraging, because we would have expected maybe some performances that would reflect, something better than what we are seeing right now.
We would have expected the performance to have been better than what we're seeing right now. I know you say the examiners are yet to come through with the reports, but comparatively, when we look at all of the subjects, did we see an improvement compared to last year and the previous years?
Well, if you look at on the surface of it, if you look at the percentages that we have put out there, you would realize that all the percentages that we have are lower than the ones that we had last year and maybe even the year before. Yeah, but then again, I would say that this is just about the number of candidates whose results we have been able to process so far. We still have quite a number of them. If we look at the latter part of our press statement, we've indicated clearly that we still have a number of the results that we are looking at, and probably when we are done with the investigations, we will publish those results as well.
And so what? Things are the same, but for the core maths and then social studies, we'll say that it's almost the same in terms of outcome and performance.
Well, if you look at it, I just received the chief examiner's report on mathematics in particular. If you would, I'll take you through the weaknesses that the chief examiners have put out. Now, so there's a summary of candidates' weaknesses. Candidates showed weaknesses in the following. 1, representing mathematical information in a diagram. 2, solving global mathematics-related problems. 3, constructing cumulative frequency table from given data distribution. 4, making deductions from real-life problems. 5, solving application problems in simple interest. 6, translating word problems into mathematical expressions. And then 7, interpreting of results from cumulative frequency curve. So these are the areas of weakness that have been identified by the chief examiners. And so they are asking that teachers should try and make the, students understand and then give them more exercises in these areas, especially where they have to represent data in diagrams and interpreting data from, diagrams and then curves, cumulative frequency curves. Yeah.
But in totality, some will say, what's the problem in terms of the question? Because I'm looking at your statement again, and I see that averagely for 2025, particularly for the core subject, we've seen a decline almost we've actually seen a decline in all the performance ratios since 2022. And so in English language, in 2024, on average 69.52 pass. This year we're seeing 69%. Core maths in particular, where we've seen more than half fail, we've seen the 60 percentile regions over the last 3 years. In English, integrated science rather, last year was at 58.7, this year is at 57.7, and then social studies has dropped from 71.53 to 55.82 as well. Is there a difficulty in terms of maybe the exams was harder this year? I mean, we're trying to wrap our heads around it, even as you mentioned to us that the examiners are explaining why, for instance, in math, there was a problem.
Well, when it comes to these examinations, it is not that WAEC on its own decides which questions they are going to come out with and so on and so forth. We have people who are subject experts who sit with our own subject officers, and together they moderate the questions and they agree that these questions are suitable for the candidates who are going to the examination in any particular year. So it is not as if maybe for this particular year we chose to make the questions overly difficult, but these are questions that have been moderated by the subject experts, including our own officers. And if you look at what the chief examiner has indicated, he says that the standard of the paper compared favorably with that of the previous year. Usually would want to see if the difficulty level in a particular year is way above that of the previous year. But when they came out with their report, they indicated that the standard of the paper compared favorably. In other words, they are just about the same in terms of difficulty level. One of the things I'm trying to put together the chief examiner's reports. I've not received the written report on social studies in particular, but then I'm told that from what the subject officer indicated, they did not go into define this and state this. I've not seen the questions myself anyway, but then he says that there were areas where they had to apply the knowledge that they had, and that was one of the areas where they had some difficulty. So I would say that we would have to diversify. In terms of on the part of the candidates, they should be able to diversify their learning be able to apply the knowledge and not have that straitjacket of, rote learning. They should be able to become critical thinkers and also be able to apply the knowledge that they have.
I see there's some updates on exam malpractice. In terms of what it is that we saw this year, comparing to last year, would you say the prevalence of exam malpractice was higher this year than last year? I'm trying to get to a point.
Well, if you look at the figures, obviously you would see an increase in the number of maybe results that have been cancelled, results that have been withheld. But then also, don't forget that before the examinations began, we had sent a warning that we're going to deploy many more monitors. And so we increased our surveillance across the regions. I would say that the Director General himself was in some of the areas. And in fact, he called us while he was in the field, asking us to go to one area or another. Besides that, we also had people in the some well-meaning Ghanaians, let me describe them that way, who were whistleblowers. So they would indicate, they would call the office. We had lines that they could call. They called the lines and indicated what was happening in areas that they felt was not right. And indeed, when we sent monitors, they discovered that this was what was happening. So our appeal, we held stakeholder engagements across the country and asked for support from the general public. And I believe that the support we received from them largely has enabled us to, apprehend all of these people that we are either prosecuting in court or whose results we have had to cancel.
I asked that question because there are those who are making the argument, wanting to compare whether or not the tightened security around this year's exam, and I mean, no disrespect to anybody in terms of the exams from previous years, but there are those who believe that, look, because things were tighter this year, it made it more difficult for persons to compromise the integrity of the exam, reason why perhaps we're seeing what we're seeing. But from your standpoint at WAEC, is there any credence that can be given to an argument like that?
Well, certainly I would say that there was much more surveillance this year than we had in previous years. First of all, with our engagements across the country, we made a passionate appeal to the general public to assist us to, curb this canker of examination malpractice. I remember very well there was a statement that was made by the education minister that he wasn't going to countenance any form of malpractice on the part of teachers, and that they would deal decisively with anybody who engaged in examination malpractices. So maybe that also helped to a very large extent, because then people were scared. They wanted to maintain their job. Remember that a few teachers have been dismissed from the service because of their involvement in examination malpractices. Now, so when we look at all of these factors, we would say that probably accounted for the candidate's inability to receive external help, and then also, per hour increased surveillance, we're able to apprehend a lot more people and, cause them to be punished for whatever wrongs that they did.
And again, I'll bring in, because this is something that's done in collaboration with government, I'll ask this question as well, because we're seeking to find answers. We know under the previous administration, there was this policy that had been put up where past questions were being purchased from WAEC to be made available to students. Off the top of my head, that policy was not continued this year. And so again, it raises the question in terms of trying to pinpoint to where or why we're seeing things play out the way we have, whether or not that could be a contributory factor as well.
Well, when you talk about past questions, in every school they have past questions in their library, because we would normally pack in excess. If you have about 210 candidates, we'll give you about maybe 220 question papers. So certainly every school will have past questions, and teachers are supposed to have access to them so that they are able to run their candidates through as a way of testing their preparedness for the examination. But, you know, that policy is not a wide policy. It is something that came from the Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service. So maybe on their part, if they decide to do an analysis of the results vis-a-vis what happened in previous years, and that is if indeed the past questions that they purchased made any difference in the candidate's performance, then, well, they would be in a position to judge and then say, okay, we are probably going to go back to that policy to ensure that our candidates are performing better than, you know, they did, especially in 2025.
We've seen the results for a lot of the core subjects, which is more often than not the most important. But on the elective side, are we seeing similar in terms of the outcome, or there were improvements there comparatively to the core subjects?
For now, that would be difficult to answer because the statistics have been provided is just limited to the core subjects only. Maybe later on we can look at the general performance and see, because again, it is not, we have a lot of subject areas, the general arts.
Absolutely, I mean, arts, general science. So yes, I know that will be difficult to because it's not the same electives that everybody, but I'm just trying to get an understanding where perhaps people are, I mean, the students found it, I wouldn't say easier, but they were able to perform better with their electives as compared to the core subjects. Reason why I'm asking that question, but we do not have that data just as yet. But on the score of exam or practice, I see that in some schools, 185 schools, their results have been withheld for alleged collusion. What's the progress in having these matters determined for the result of those students as well to be released, and all of the other ones where there are asterisks on them?
So the process is a simple one. So when the examiners finish marking and they report that they suspect collusion in one area or another, what happens is that there's a staff committee that will look at the variety. First of all, we have to present these findings to the exams committee of the board, and then they give us a green light to withhold and do further investigation. So as we speak, the committee that is supposed to be looking at these things is doing their work. Every day they sit, even at weekends, they sit and look at the veracity of these allegations. For those where we do not find, anything that is implicating, probably we look at them and say, no, this evidence is not strong enough to warrant any cancellation. We go ahead and release the results. So on a daily basis, wherever they get to, they quickly provide that information for the ICT department that will go ahead and release the results. But where we think that the candidates are culpable, then we provide an opportunity for them to meet with our staff to be given a hearing as to how come they have, those issues brought against them. So as we speak, come Wednesday, from Wednesday to about next week, the end of next week, we are going to have officers across the country to every region where we have these issues, and then the candidates will be invited to come and then, answer or probably tell us their side of the story. And if there's any veracity in whatever it is that they say, well, we'll take a second look at it, and then we'll determine whether they deserve to have their grades or whether we'll have to cancel the results.
Finally, from me, and still early days yet in terms of what's happened during this year's WASSCE, but there will be some reports submitted to government to guide education policy planning going forward, because even on the core maths, you're mentioning areas where teachers are supposed to be paying particular attention to their students going forward. Would that be put into a comprehensive report and submitted?
Well, yes, obviously, we always do that. Every year, once we are done with everything, there's a report that is produced for all the subjects. So we have it on our website, and we also provide copies to all the agencies that matter. so that they would also take a look at it and then ensure that going forward, whoever is supposed to do whatever they need to do, they would do it to ensure that the candidates are performing as expected.
Right then, Mr. Kapi, I'm sure we can leave it here and we'll return to you again to get a bit more. I'm particularly interested in the Chief Examiner's report on what happened with social studies, because I have a copy of the social studies paper here, and if I read bits and pieces of it, Section A, the environment, what 5 useful lessons can an individual learn from Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, theory for personal development? That carried 20 marks. Discuss 5 ways by which expensive funerals retard the development of the Ghanaian society. In what 5 ways has Western formal education transformed the social outlook of the Ghanaian? That's just by way of reading some of the questions, and yet we had over 50% not being able to answer this. I am particularly interested in what the Chief Examiner's report is. But just give us what the Chief Examiner's report was on core maths again before you leave us. What they say and what recommendations they are making to teachers as well.
Well, so they indicate for the strengths of the candidates, they indicated that they were strong in applying the midpoint concept to solve problems. They were able to solve problems on mensuration. They were also able to solve simple problems on average speed, and also finding distance of a line when given 2 points. But then their weaknesses are, one, they were unable to represent mathematical information in a diagram. They were unable to solve global mathematics-related problems. They were weak in constructing cumulative frequency table from given data distribution, making deductions from real-life problems. They were weak in solving application problems in simple interest, translating word problems into mathematical expressions, and then interpreting of results from cumulative frequency curve. So these are the weaknesses that have been indicated by the Chief Examiner for Mathematics.
Mr. Kapi, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning.
It's my pleasure.
That's John Kapi. He is the Director of Communication at the West African Examination Council, speaking to us this morning on the WASSCE results. And we have the social studies question. I was just trying to walk us through it just briefly. And then the math question as well has been put on the platform for our perusal as well. I know there's that's objectives, before there's the main question. I'm unable to download this one. But Helen is still here. Sixtus is also here as well. In terms of these questions, I read 3. Let me read the 4th one on Section A just quickly. Identify any 4 shared Ghanaian values. That 4A, identify any 4 shared Ghanaian values, and B, in what 4 ways do common values contribute to national cohesion? And so I see it's 100 marks. And then there is the B, Section B, governance, politics, and stability. Question 5A, state 4 conflicts that may arise in the exercise of rights and responsibilities. 4B, highlight 4 reasons why rights and freedoms were entrenched in the 1992 Republican Constitution of Ghana. 6A, state 4 economic challenges associated with Ghana's political independence. 6B, outline 4 measures an individual can take to become self-reliant. 7A, distinguish between bilateral and multilateral cooperation. And 7B, discuss 4 areas of cooperation between Ghana and the United Nations. So those are the social studies questions.
Mawuena.
Yeah.
How on earth do you fail social studies? You don't know values of Ghanaian values. Even if you were not taught in class, The maths one, me, because I fear maths, I understand.
Very fear maths.
Oh, I thought you were going to answer the question for us.
No, I'm not trying to trivialize the issue, but of all the things you can fail, social studies. And you say how many people got Fs?
Let me see.
52.
52%.
F.
So they failed.
F for fail.
And this means
so
okay, that
one in
was
every
for
4 got
core
F9
subjects.
in social studies, but overall, the percentage of persons
the performance amongst the core subjects, social studies was the one that got the worst performance.
Yes, so social studies
All the core
recorded
subjects.
a significant dip with 55.82% attaining A1 to C6, which is down sharply from the previous 71.53% the previous year. The subject registered one of the highest failure rates, with 7.38% scoring D7, 9.12% obtaining E8, and 27.50% failing with F9. So more than a quarter of students who do the social studies, they got F9 fail. So
That's
more than
terrible.
1 out of every 4 got F4. In fact,
studies.
F9.
I mean, in all humility and with all due respect, with no intention of belittling the subject or trivializing the issue, social studies has always been one of those subjects that if you won't get anything at all, that one day you can also write something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how social studies, core values, the F9 would mean the person didn't answer any question correctly.
Oh, is that F9? Not even one.
But that is the only way you get F9. It means you didn't get any. And this one also had objective.
Yes,
questions.
Objective.
So
and
the person
then
was
written.
not the what did they call that one? The one that you sing and choose.
Some kind of cha-cha.
Mass right now. I will leave the studio and leave the two of you to do the conversation.
I'll follow shortly.
And you see, funny enough, I think part of the report said English got the best performance.
Yes,
also.
so the English language, 69% of candidates secured between A1 and C6, which is only very slightly lower, some 0.52% lower. So consistently, almost 70% of candidates who sit for English language will get decent grades, A1 to C6. The pass rate is good.
So can we blame social media? There's a lot of English on social media, but when it comes down to learning, so things like the Ghanaian values, the rights of the Constitution, rights enshrined in the Constitution, it is country specific, and because those kinds of discussions are not out there, maybe they are not able to follow. I don't know.
Are we not living the Ghanaian values? Do you have to go on social media for somebody to tell you that Ghanaians uphold this value?
If you are spending all your time on social media, you are watching the videos on the other app, the one that they'll do live and be on it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Live streaming.
And say, that one. Live streaming. If you are doing that, it means that nobody's talking about values on any of those social media platforms.
That's right.
So that's what I'm just thinking that we spend too much time on social media, and maybe going back to another long-standing conversation, a debate, if you like, whether children should be allowed to carry phones, smartphones for that matter, to school.
Are they allowed? They are
not
still allowed now.
They are not allowed. But that conversation has come up.
No,
and the argument then was that they will be able to learn. They will be able to do research on using
But the government
phones
is providing them tablets.
You got to computer lab if you want to do
Not for the labs. There are a lot of schools don't have. Maybe the other projects having. The one Haruna said they are using it to watch porn.
Yes, so they are going to configure. It's a tabs. It's a tablets they are seeking to make available to students.
And they said the students have already started using it to watch porn.
They are yet to.
But those ones, when you configure it, there's limited access to
that is
what
why
you
it
can
has
do.
to be configured.
Yeah.
To tailor it for your learning. You see, so that it will meet your learning needs, not allow you to go wandering about. You download and install all sorts of apps. But this social studies matter, it's disturbing. I mean, how do you feel social studies? How?
But across the board, we've seen a decline. A decline in terms of performance, right? So here I am looking at grade A1 to C6 over the last 3 years, 2022, 2023, 2024, and you realize that 2025 has recorded a steep, not steep, but a decline of some sort.
Right.
You could call it steep, you could call it whatever you want, but there's been some significant decline. And so if you take English language, for instance, that's the only area where we try to stay at the top, right? So between 2022, 2023, 2024, between A1 to C6, in 2022, for instance, 60%, 60.39% got between those grades. In 2023, that increased to 73.11%. In 2024, it dropped to 69.52. Then this year, we're seeing 69% actually make the mark. Just 69, at the dot per paper, 69. If you go to math, it was 61.39 in 2022, 62.23 in 2023, 66.86 in 2024, and this year we dropped to 48.73. When you look at integrated science, we were at 62.45 passed because A1 to C6 is passed. 66.82 in 2023. It looks like 2023 was one of like the best performing years for WASSCE in a while. Then in 2024, it dropped to 58.77 for integrated science. Then this year, we dropped to 57.74. Social studies, we've been in the 70 percentiles, 71.51 in 2022, 76.76 in 2023, and then 71.53 in 2024, and this year we are at 55.82. So across board, the core subject, we've seen nosedives in terms of performance for this year, and that raises quite the concern in terms of the performance of students, particularly for this year's WASSCE. And even though we've gotten the reports for core maths, which is explaining that they were not able to solve world problems, they weren't able to do this and that, not able to find the distance of lines and all of that, problem questions and what have you, it does appear there is quite the decline for this year.
Now, you posed the question to Mr. Cappy about whether there is some correlation between enhanced exam, what is it? Exam...
More practices.
No, enhanced exam supervision.
Right.
Whether there's a correlation between enhanced exam supervision and these declining results. And he made a comment that WAEC has been grateful for some enhanced surveillance, if you will. And that could potentially be an impact, or could have potentially had an impact on the scores that we're seeing. If this is a true reflection of what happens when our young ones don't have the opportunity to cheat, then that provides us with a clear path as to where it is that we are, so that we're not deceiving ourselves. If we are at this level truly, that provides the schools, that provides government, that provides the relevant bodies the tools to then move forward to ensure that we are actually doing better. I would rather this comes to light than we continue to have exam malpractice be the order of the day and we don't actually know what the children know and what they don't know. If this really, and I don't know how we go about finding out whether that connection really exists, whether we can say 1 + 1 = 2, because last year when we had this conversation, the major fear was that, well, then after a while on the international scale, who will value results coming from our part of the world, because they say these kids, they've been cheating. If you bring them to your school, they'll come in, and where there's no cheating, they'll come and destroy your track record for you, Poto, because they came with not real results. They came with some cheating results. So that would be, for me, the next step in the conversation, if we're able to make that connection or not.
All right. Let's just hold our horses and get on to the phone line. Dr. Peter Appiah-Ampofo is the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies. He's joined us as well as we try and understand what it is that we've seen. Doc, I appreciate you speaking to us. And so, a decline across board in all of the core subjects for this year, surely a cause for concern and immediate introspection as to what has happened.
It's difficult for me discussing this because we normally have these discussions, especially when WISE release their national averages, and we are forced to give reasons for the performance that are measured by students. And some of us have held the position that to be able to guide and help the ministry and GES take important steps to ensuring that teaching and learning and other things are provided to individual schools so that their performance will appreciate. We need to be very circumspect in ascribing reasons to students' performance, whether there is an improvement or there is a decline. So, I would want to look at this discussion from what gives us the national average. And when we look at what gives us the national average, it is from individuals. Now, if we say that a factor like stringent invigilation is contributing to students not performing well, then we would look at that factor as a variable across all schools, because this happened across schools. If it happened across schools, then we should be able to determine this particular kind of regulation affected most, and which schools were not affected by that. If we are at indiscipline factor, which schools are we talking about? If we are saying that some schools were not able to access, which schools are we talking about? In all, what I'm saying is that we will need to get down to the individual schools to know which schools are contributing to the dropping of the national, and which schools contribute to the upward movement of the national average. And that is the only way we'll be able to guide the Ministry of Education to devise changes to ensure that schools that are not performing well are brought for that other schools are. And this is the thing that I would be glad to have. I would not be in a rush and factors that are perceived to cause the poor performance of, because I do not have to speak to it, and I have not rigorous assessment of the essence as was carried out. As Mawuena,
Doc, our line to you is a bit shaky. It's been breaking. Your submissions have not been as thoroughly clear as I would love, and for our listeners to love as well. I don't know if you could reposition, or we could try calling you again. Hopefully the line is better. But the point you make is that we need to reach a point where we can drill down and get to understand which school is contributing to the decline and which school is contributing to the upward trajectory. That's the point that you're making. But it's curious realizing that we haven't been able to do that all this while, or we do it for every year and we will have to do it again for this year.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. proceed, and if it's not, I'll just come in and then we'll have you phoned again.
So the point is that WAEC will do this individual analysis on a spreadsheet. What we want to go further to do is the ministry identifying these schools and making deliberate policies to ensure that they are brought up, so that after the next we can now do an assessment of whether the interventions worked or not. That would have helped with the discussion. For example, after looking at last of evil to devise specific measures to identify schools that were pulling the national average and we instituted specific measures to ensure that they are assisted. Then this year would have gone back to those schools that were assisted with specific interventions and see their performance to know whether these interventions worked or not. That is the kind of analysis and discussion that I would be interested in having. Of course, we can have the general discussion of ascribing reasons to anything. That is why your co-host was talking about whether we can really establish a correlation between student invigilating and performance. Because these are things that should be done scientifically. Remember, we are dealing with education, and one mistake can destroy the future of individuals. So we don't just get up and then ascribe reasons to students' performance simply because we feel that that is what is the situation. And if we do that, we are not helping the Ministry of Education, which is in charge of policy implementation, policy development, to get the actual rationale, the actual reasons why students continue to perform poorly. As you gave the 4 years, you indicated a decline. What is really happening? That to the extent that this year we are seeing such a dip in core mathematics. We need to do this and do it well to help the individual kids in the senior high schools so that they don't continue to suffer from the system failure. And that is what I am interested in. So, yeah, we let the politicians continue to score their 2 political points with whatever reasons that they might want to put out. But can we step back a little and go and look at the individual school performances and see what we can do as a country to support these schools that consistently score below 20%. The past week, consistently score below 20%. Some of them do 5%. And find ways that we can support these individual schools within the year as they prepared for what's next year. And then next year, we can come and have a discussion that 20 schools were giving this kind of intervention. Core mathematics teachers were trained. The sample core mathematics questions were discussed with students. Chief examiner reports were supplied and then discussed with students. Enhanced resources were provided. And these things were given to these schools. After that, this is the result that we had for core maths after that last year's challenge. This is what changes educational system. This is what helps my kid in the senior high school who is likely to face the same challenge as they prepare to write what's next year.
And I appreciate this perspective that you're bringing on board, the fact that we have to drill down, identify, and apply the solutions head on to them. What will be your expectation of the ministry now that you're making this proposal? If it's not come to the attention, I suppose you're wanting to have this brought to the attention for some action to be taken in that regard.
Exactly. The ministry would have the spreadsheets for individual schools. These spreadsheets would even go down to the district level. What I expect the ministry to do is to sit down and identify these schools that drop the national average. And it is very, very important. If they want to improve national average, look at the individual schools. And then design measures. Go to the schools and find out what challenges that they have. For all you know, some of the schools scored 0% in core mathematics. It means nobody passed. Some of them will have 10%, 5%. All those schools need to be identified. And I'm using core maths as an example because that is what we are all talking about. All those schools will need to be identified. Identify all the core maths teachers in these schools. And then make sure you provide them with the requisite professional development or training for a period, let's say 2 days kind of training, then continue to monitor teaching and learning in those schools for the period for WASI. And after that, when WASI is released around this time, we can now ascertain whether intervention worked or not. And what are the reasons why this didn't work and what are the reasons why it worked? We can also identify the schools that performed well, scored about 60%, learn from what they are doing right, and then ensure that there's sustainability in their practices so that at the end of next year, their performance will not give but will improve. This is the kind of thing that educational policymakers will be thinking about in any system. And I pray that our system will adopt this.
And I come back to that point because the government has mentioned or reiterated a number of times that they want to move some schools, category C schools, to B and make some B schools as well, turn them into an A school. The focus has been largely on infrastructure and availability of resources in terms of the physicals that you can touch. This point you make about drilling down, I suppose, should now become front and center in the bid to make these schools A and B schools, because off the top of my head, and if we were to go through the numbers, we realize that a lot of the pass rate in terms of the core subject will emanate from the category A schools. And so this should also be a focus of the government in terms of changing a number of these schools from the categories that they are, which is not making them a viable option for students when it comes to school placement, and changing that narrative as well, not just on infrastructure.
Exactly. You see, I perfectly agree with you. We tend to give paracetamol to anybody that walks into the hospital and complains that he's sick. That is what we do in our educational system. We love the wholesale measures. We want to do everything in the wholesale so that if we are saying we are supplying books, every school is getting books. That does not address the challenges. So yes, we need to move some category C schools to B. What are the variables that we are looking at to identify that out of the over 300 category C schools, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools are the ones that we really need to support in the interim, because we cannot do for all. We will need to look at some of these things. We should not continue to do this wholesale measure of intervention in our schools. No, we will need to now stick to what the data is saying and then devise means to ensure that we are sticking to the real needs of the children in our schools. So you provide them with the resources, and then in some schools, after the resources, you will need to give some sort of support to the teachers. You get me? In other schools, after you provide them with the resources, you will need to provide them, you will need to do additional, kind of supervision and monitoring in some schools. These are specific measures that you need to do if you want to be deliberate about improving the educational outcomes in this country. And I agree with you that the starting point is the decision to convert, move some C schools to B. We can use this as a measure and then move on from there.
Dr. Pate, I appreciate you speaking to us, and I look forward to this being done by the Education Ministry, and hopefully we can come back to a conversation and say, okay, this year we drilled down, we identify the schools, and we've been able to make some intervention, and this is the progress we've made as a result of that. I can say on both our parts, we'll be seeking to draw the ministry's attention to this and have this done to the betterment of our students as well.
Thank you very much for having me. And I think that Media General can even lead the charge. Media General can identify some of these schools, apply to WAEC, and let us know some of the schools that scored 0 in core mathematics. And as part of your what do you call it? Social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. Adopt 1 or 2 schools and then get the experts to go and assess them. And next year we can look at the impact, and we use that as a yardstick to project to the ministry that this is what we can do to change the lives of individual students in individual schools.
I appreciate you. That's Dr. Peter Appiah-Ampofo. He's the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, speaking to us this morning as well. Helen, quite the solution in terms of how we can work around this.
I like that at the end, that tip, or should I say advice or suggestion from Mr. Anti. But more importantly, I did really appreciate his commentary on what the real essence of this data is and what an opportunity it provides us beyond the politics to strengthen our educational system. And like he says, we're talking about education here, so it should be done with some type of formula. And I heard him comment on my comments about correlation between enhanced exam supervision vis-a-vis the results. And he says we have to go and use science, use data.
It can't be feelings.
It can't be feelings. I feel as though, because at the root of this issue is the future of this country, the type of human resource that we're churning out. This morning, you had a small tete-a-tete with one of our callers. He alleges that the president is failing the students, and that's where the conversation becomes reduced to. But this is about the future. Fellow Ghanaians, you can have that banter on the lighter side, but what is the data pointing us to? If these are the figures that we have, what do we do to strengthen our kids' abilities in mathematics, in social studies? Can we have these conversations at our home? This might inform...
And what are the teaching methods?
What are the teaching methods? Can this inform maybe our next MG dialogue, our monthly dialogue, to actually open up the conversation? Let's open our minds beyond some of the banter that we reduce these very important conversations to. Trust me, the international world, they are looking at this. Maybe you are looking for a visa. Sometimes this is the intel that they pick. Hey, these kids all want to come to our universities with what credentials? Year on year, our aim is to get better. So I really appreciate the thoughts of Mr. Anti on this one, saying that let's use mathematics, let's use science, let's use formula, data, and come out with something positive for the future of this country.
But I wasn't surprised about that comment. The caller who went full-blown politics on it. What surprised me was why Mawuena was surprised. Otherwise, his comment...
Mawuena was not surprised.
I wasn't surprised. I was just seeking to stop. I mean, and I always say, look, me, I don't gag anybody when you want to share your thoughts. You are free to share your thoughts. But when you enter the realms...
play within our rules.
Yes, when you enter within the realms of accusations which are not... I mean... It should not be said anywhere, whether under the previous administration, under this administration, under the next administration, and the president has failed students.
I mean,
what's the basis of
anyway, which you make such a statement? Back to the more serious conversation. The other thing I thought about was how at the district level, students can that supervision that you spoke about, and whatever policy formulation and implementation it is, should actually come from the district level. We have locally tailored solutions for the local concerns. And some of the areas, the students probably spend all their time at the farm. Because they have to help out at farm, and they have to ensure that the daily bread is found or made before they then think about their books. And in instances like that, you see that the book then becomes secondary, and some of them don't even have the time to study until it is the exam time. So if that is the peculiar problem in that particular district, how is the district education director fashioning out policies to deal with the problem that is peculiar to them? In some of the districts, it could be a lack of teacher. Maybe the schools don't have mathematics teachers.
Right.
How is the district director for that particular area fashioning out policies that will directly inform the specific need of the students? And I know that where I come from, we lack teachers. A lot of the times you don't have the teachers.
For different subjects.
For different subjects and for different schools. So a student, I wouldn't be surprised if a student goes to school for all the 3 years that he spends in senior high school, up to the time that he's writing the exam. He has seen the teacher for, say, maybe only 3 times in the classroom, which would then become a conversation at that local level. So you should find the chief executive, the director of education, circuit supervisors coming together, and PTAs coming together to deal with the problem. And in some of the cases too, it is teacher absenteeism.
Right.
They have the teachers, but they are not going to school because nobody is monitoring them. Or they feel that, oh, but I'm in a village, if I don't go, who knows? Especially in areas where they say when it rains, the teacher cannot go to school. Maybe because the teacher has to cross a stream, the teacher is unable to, and so he doesn't go. Some too, maybe they just decide that they won't go to school for no reason. They are just lazying about. Others too, we hear they go into some communities and go and get into farming and forget about the schools, that the reason why they are in the communities that. So I think we have to also begin to drill down to the district levels. Let's find local solutions for local problems, so that we don't sit at the top and say that generally we have a teacher a lack of teacher problem, and then we push teachers to the schools. Meanwhile, in some particular school, their problem really may not be a lack of a teacher.
I like that you said that in some communities it might be the economic situation of the day, so that daddy needs all the hands he can get to go onto the farm. The teachers are in the classroom, the students are on the farm.
On the farm, you see. And in some, and in fact, all that I have said is based on comments that we have heard people made, experiences people have shared from different parts of the country. And in some areas too, you find that the students are in the class, but the teachers are loitering. They are wasting away, for lack of a better expression. So I think that the regional directors of education, the district directors of education, the coming up or down to the Director General, they would then have to look at what the local problems are and then deal with. As for the general issues of unavailability of textbooks or inadequacy of textbooks, lack of classrooms, furniture, people are having to lie on their stomachs and learn and write. Those are general issues that we can deal with. But even in the absence of direct solutions to those general issues, what are the local conditions and how can we deal with the local conditions, remove the local barriers so that the kids would have some smooth learning.
I'll come back to us for us to wrap up, because we had an earlier challenge with this machine in doing our commercials, but I think that's been rectified. So we have to just clear our spot of commercials, and then we'll return and then try and wrap up on this particular subject.
92.7 3 FM. 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 92.
Your pocket via receiving money through CBG. So receiving money from your loved ones abroad should never be complicated, right? With CBG Money Transfer Services, you enjoy a fast, secure, and convenient way to access your funds abroad. Visit any CBG branch nationwide to receive transfers from leading global partners, including Ease Remit, Western Union, MoneyGram, RIA, UnityLink, PayAngel, Transfast, TapTapSend, TerraPay, and Thunes. All you need is your valid national ID, phone number, and transfer reference number, and we'll ensure a smooth, stress-free experience from start to finish. For enquiries, call us 0302-216-000, 0302-216-000, or email us at talktous@cbg.com.gh, or reach us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Terms and conditions to apply. just chasing them but collecting them is back bigger and better with chances to change your life. I'm talking about the luckiest, right? So let me show you 2 quick, easy ways to get into the game. The first is that you grab your phone and you dial *712#. Choose option 1 to buy a ticket for yourself or option 2 to buy for somebody else. When you want the system to generate a lucky ticket for you, go with option 1 again. But if you prefer to choose your own ticket number, that's option 2. Confirm your payment with Momo and you're in. Now, the online way, head to theluckiestafrica.com and register. Tap on community tickets to either pick your own lucky number or that the system choose for you. You can buy a ticket for someone else too. And when it's time to pay, use Momo if you're in Ghana or pay with your card if you're abroad. 1 ticket can multiply your money by 500 times. Your entire community could win 10 times over. This is your golden chance. Hop on. Let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere. After breaks loose. Here's a reason number 4 to be at Family Lac 2025, right? So it's a family fun day in association with Cerelac, and so we partnered and say Family Lac 2025. We will be serving entertainments that keeps everyone smiling. Live band, DJs, hilarious MC moment, kids taking over the mic. It's a kind of joyful chaos that reminds you why family matters. Whether you're 6 months or age 50, there's a moment waiting with your name on it. This Friday, the 5th of December at the Good Park from 9 a.m. is a family fun day, Family Lac 2025. Powered by Cerelac and brought to you by 3FM. And I always say, even the big people, they are eating Cerelac. So you have no basis, absolutely no reason not to be there this Friday. So let's wrap up on that edgy talk. So we know that we're expecting the full details from WAEC later on, and then the expectation is progress. Maybe we can do that MG dialogue on WASI results and exam or practice as well. You never can tell, really.
Why not? Even amongst us, and very grateful for what also Sixtus shared with us. I mean, it's such a nuanced conversation and should be also the responses and the solutions tailored to specific areas. And I hadn't even thought about the different angle of those that are in areas where teachers are not present, where teachers are present, maybe they've taken up a different occupation, where the teachers are in the classroom, the kids are on the farm. It's a very nuanced conversation. And so certainly it's unraveling. It's one that we're still sinking our teeth into. So let's watch this space and broaden the conversation beyond the usual banter that characterizes these types of conversations. And like Mr. Auntie said, let's use some science. Let's use some science, formula, data. The matter
is plenty.
It's too much. Let's invest in that and see what difference we can make. Absolutely. Yeah.
But to be fair, we can also run away from the politics of it.
Oh, the politics. The politics, yeah, will always be there.
There's policy.
That's right.
Yes.
Both P's, right?
Politics in fact, when you even bring in the politics, for example, is there a specific correlation between procuring past papers? Does that what kind of impact does that have when kids use the past papers, so that it is criticized on one end, but is it a positive impact on the outcomes of the result? I mean, it's a nuanced conversation, and I think Sixtus is right. That can definitely feature. Let's find some results.
Let's take you to Kumasi right now, because we know that the Otumfuo mediation on the Boko conflict The parties are meeting at the Minsha Palace today. Let's just go to Evans for like 2 minutes, right? Evans should give us something 2 minutes, and then we get a sense as to what to expect for the rest of the day. Evans, talk to us.
Yeah.
The teams have started coming to the Minsha Palace. What's to be expected today? A final conclusion on all of the matters as have been discussed over the last few months?
Well, absolutely. So they started arriving yesterday. A good number of them arrived in coaches. Today, we are expecting more or less a crunch gathering. For the third time, they are facing each other. I'm talking about the feuding parties will be facing each other. And what many would want to describe as a verdict. And I am getting an indication that some information are very sensitive that probably the public will not be made to know in the course of time today. There's likely to be some level of secondary information that is information will be filtered. For presidency, we understand right after the meeting, all that transpired will be made known to them. But for the public, it doesn't look like it's going to be very immediate because of the sensitive nature of the situation. But I also understand that there has been some series of meetings, and it does indicate that the feuding parties know where the verdict, if you like, is going to fall. And for that matter, mind preparation has already begun. But it is going to be a crunch one, as I said early on.
And so the factions have a sense of where this is going to go.
That is what I'm gathering, because if you look at the communication that came out prior to this particular meeting, it was emphatic that the Santene is going to use yesterday and today to end mediation. Yesterday, there wasn't much of an activity at the Minsha Palace, just one of a spectacle of preparation, preparing the venue, which of course is the Jubilee Auditorium, Santene Jubilee Hall, for today's meeting. Today we are going to see real action in the sense that the feuding parties are meeting, and this is the final meeting. This is the last time, because it is, the end of the mediation, and that presupposes that, well, if there has been some compromise, if there has been some consensus building, we are going to know that today. But it looks like once the letter indicated that it is the final day of mediation, maybe some resolution might have been reached. But like I said, information flow has been very economical. So it is very delicate. Mentioning or being emphatic on certain conclusions, even if you have that information, because we are getting certain level of indication, but those that we cannot put on in the public domain because of the sensitive nature of such information.
Evans, we'll leave it here because I'm sure security presence will be tightened as well in and around Minsha as a faction comes through and all of that.
Well, absolutely. Just as the first day of the mediation process, there were a lot of security presence there, and it's going to be heightened today as well. You know, in the course of time, during the mediation process, there were certain incidents. For instance, you remember the shooting incident at Asanwase, and then certain reprisals. Even though investigation or report from that particular incident has not been made public as to what triggered that, but there are high signs, there are speculation that it had something to do with the Boko conflict. So security at Minsha hasn't been compromised, and I'm not sure it's going to be compromised today as well.
Thank you, Evans, for that, and I'm sure we'll come to you on subsequent bulletins for updates. That's William Evans Inkum, is my colleague in the Ashanti region for us, and so it's a big day in Kumasi today in terms of the mediation work by the Otumfuo. We'll get to know what the decision is. I will not say expectations from any of us because we do not know what to expect, but it certainly is a big day to look ahead to, guys.
Yes, I will
We
pray.
agree with you.
I will pray.
Concur.
Oh my goodness.
We agree.
What happened? I missed that.
I think you said it all.
I missed that.
Helen doesn't want to say anything in relation to the subject matter.
I want to because I have special interest in this. That it doesn't. Whatever comes out of this mediation, my people, please, let's let peace